Chapter 706. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. The human alliance relied on the might of Pangu the Great Emperor to continuously reclaim the occupied territories. During this period of time, the divine kings of the foreign races led the foreign races, and both sides engaged in several fierce battles. Both sides suffered losses and were testing each other's strength. The 10 generals of the human race were temporarily the strongest force on the continent. This force could not be concealed and had already become the stabilizing force of the human race. The 10 generals had already fought with the 10 great divine kings. For the time being, both sides could not do anything to each other. At the same time, the battle lines of both sides quickly gathered together. The 10 great divine kings occupied an empire in the south of the continent and became the last base camp of the continent. They controlled the southern region of the continent. On the human alliance's side, they controlled the north of the continent and temporarily formed a situation of north and south facing each other. Alliance leader, aren't you letting them off easy by coming out personally? In the endless void, a warship flew past. On the warship, the scarlet, refined, heavenly demon could not help but say, in his opinion, it was better to stay in the base camp and command the battle. He should not take the risk and come out. The foreign races are holed up in the south, with the 10 great divine kings holding down the fort. Victory seems to be one-sided. If you really think that way, you will definitely regret it. Lin Fei sat on the seat and said with a smile, I almost forgot. The foreign races could dominate for a period of time in the past. They are not as simple as they appear on the surface. The scarlet, refined, heavenly demon quivered and seemed to have thought of something. Are you talking about the Holy Mother? In the cabin, there were only a few people who understood the Holy Mother. The Holy Mother is a special race. The 10 great divine kings are all nurtured by them. It is not wrong to nurture another 10 great divine kings. Lin Fei said with a smile, have you all noticed that the territories we reclaimed have a sharp decline in population? In addition, the foreign races have changed their behavior and are wantonly attacking and plundering the population. It might be for the Holy Mother. Lin Fei stopped there and did not continue. Everyone's face turned solemn. City Lord, we have arrived at the Fire Beacon continent. It is one of the worlds that have been occupied by the foreign races. A scout quickly ran in and reported the situation. Everyone, prepare for battle. Lin Fei stood up. When the battle line between the north and the south was opened, Lin Fei found an opportunity to go to the land outside and cut off the non-humankind army's retreat. With the previous victories, Lin Fei didn't think that they could keep suppressing the foreign races. Especially after the 10 great god kings came out to fight a few times and chose to turtle up, he realized that something was going to happen. The first thing that came to Lin Fei's mind was the mother insect. The system had recorded that it was a powerful existence. If Lin Fei was still able to see through it, then he could forget about being the leader of the alliance. The battleship entered the Fire Beacon continent. The sky was filled with flames. It was a red nation. Lin Fei's divine sense swept outwards, and everything within a radius of 5 million kilometers appeared before his eyes. After advancing to the heavenly immortal stage, his divine sense was able to extend to a full 5 million kilometers. Don't kill us. We're not going, let us go. You strange races. Someone will come and kill you sooner or later. In the blood-colored underground world, miserable, despairing, and angry voices filled the air. In front of the gigantic, blood-colored whirlpool, a large group of suppressed humans were chased up and forced into the blood-colored whirlpool. Behind them, there was an endless stream of human figures. There were at least billions of them, tens of billions of people. Above the blood-colored whirlpool, there were tall and ugly foreign races standing guard along the way. They chased the humans into the whirlpool. Anyone who moved would be killed. Corpses were strewn all over the place. That blood-colored whirlpool was like a bottomless pit constantly devouring the human race without stopping. Above the whirlpool on a high platform, there was a tall figure wearing blood-colored battle armor. The aura around him turned into blood-colored lotuses that bloomed repeatedly. When can the other passage be opened? If this continues, the speed is too slow. The God Kings can't wait any longer and will fly into a rage. Blood Devil retracted his gaze and asked the person beside him with an anxious expression. Replying to the king, "Our people are working hard. I believe we can open the other passage tomorrow and increase the speed of the delivery." "No, it's too slow. Tell them to speed up. I want to see the passage open in half a day. These humans are the best flesh and blood nourishment. There cannot be any mistakes. Neither you nor I can bear this crime." Blood Devil coldly said, "This lowly one will arrange it immediately." Only Blood Devil was left on the high platform. Fire Beacon Continent has plundered 100 billion people. With my contribution, I can probably become a God King by then. Blood Devil squinted his eyes as he was intoxicated. "Whoever dares to stop me from becoming a God King, this daddy will kill them." "Ha ha ha ha. City Lord, the population of Fire Beacon Continent seems to have been plundered." The warship stealthily entered the continent. Everywhere it passed, there were no signs of human habitation. Ruins were faintly visible. The once prosperous Fire Beacon Continent had become a dead world. "It seems like we were right to come this time." Lin Fei also realized the severity of the problem. The population is very important to the foreign races. We need to find out why they need so many people. Lin Fei constantly released his divine senses to check Fire Beacon Continent. Even though Fire Beacon Continent wasn't big, the current Lin Fei couldn't quickly scan the entire continent. He could only search inch by inch. Found it. 1 hour later, Lin Fei used his powerful divine senses to find the base camp of the foreign races. Human race. The human race of Fire Beacon Continent and a large number of demonic beasts. Looking down from above, they could see everything clearly. On the blood plains, the black army of the foreign races was like a dark cloud that covered the sky. The entire plains were guarded, and below them were countless humans. They were constantly rushing towards the passages and killing those that didn't go. There were more than 10 blood passages, just like the gates of hell. What do the foreign races want? Lin Fei frowned as this was unexpected. He couldn't figure it out, but from the looks of it, there were at least tens of billions of people. "City Lord, let's just kill our way out and save them first." The scarlet, refining heavenly devil's strength had increased. He was now a half-step heaven immortal. His desire for battle was even stronger. Even though he didn't know what was going on, he had to save them first. "Let's start from here." Lin Fei flew out from the warship and activated the formation. Emperor Pangu appeared in the sky and swung his divine sword, sending out endless sword chi. Defensive formation? None at all. Lin Fei's sword swept across like a storm, crushing a large number of the foreign races into dust. Not good, the human race is here. With one slash, the foreign race's iron fortress was torn open. The foreign races were in chaos. They quickly formed their first wave of attack. The suppressed humans below all stopped. Their pale faces couldn't help but reveal a smile. They finally saw hope. "They're here to save us. The human race from the other great worlds are here to save us." This news was like a shot of adrenaline for everyone. Emperor Pangu's Lin Fei looked down on everyone. Even though the foreign race's rogue immortals were strong, with the divine sword in hand, it was like chopping vegetables. Chapter 707. Savage Wilderness, Great World. This base camp of the foreign races was filled with a black mass of army with no end in sight. Under a huge volcano crater, scorching magma tumbled continuously. Bubbles flew out and collided with the rocks. Scorching air waves spread everywhere, and huge pits appeared on the hard rocks. The 10 great divine kings were gathered below. The scorching air waves were dispersed by them. All of them had solemn expressions, and a smile flashed across their faces as they looked ahead. It was no small matter for the 10 great, divine kings to gather here. On the boiling magma, a blood-colored tree was rooted in the magma. It was 30,000 feet tall. The blood-colored tree wasn't a true tree. It didn't have any branches or leaves. Instead, it was covered with blood vessels as thick as an arm. There were hundreds and thousands of blood vessels like this, 30,000 feet high. A huge white cocoon of light was giving off sacred light. In less than half a year, Lord Holy Mother should be able to recover. Divine King Haotian looked at the cocoon of light and said, "Unfortunately, we underestimated Demon Lin, causing the continent to be reclaimed by them. If we had known, we would have killed Demon Lin back then. This day wouldn't have come." Transformation Divine King said in frustration, "What's wrong with that? We can take back our lost territory." Crimson Light Divine King sneered. They would never have thought that we didn't attack the continent for resources, but for a large number of people. The large number of people of the human race is our goal. On the blood-colored tree, blood flowed rapidly through the blood vessels and into the cocoon of light. The cocoon of light shone brightly, and multicolored light filled the sky. More than half of the population of Xiantian continent has been taken in by us. Even if the human race knows it's useless, they can't attack our savage, wilderness, great world. Heavenly Wings Divine King said, "You did well, you didn't disappoint me." Suddenly, a huge human face appeared on the cocoon of light. It was extremely ugly, but in the eyes of the Divine Kings, it was an incomparably familiar aura. Holy Mother! The 10 great Divine Kings knelt down, and the magma couldn't invade them. So, inside the cocoon of light was their Holy Mother of the foreign races. At this moment, Holy Mother had revealed herself. Back then, Holy Mother had been heavily injured and couldn't recover. That was why the foreign races kept attacking the various great worlds and plundering their population to recover Holy Mother's injuries. Since the Holy Mother had set a deadline of 1 year, they naturally did not dare to be negligent. They immediately attacked with their full strength. Coupled with the appearance of the starry sky shaking beast, they were able to suppress the sex of the continent. This is what we should do. Godly King Haotian was overwhelmed by the favor. However, this is not enough. I need a large amount of flesh and blood. The Holy Mother said, "I've seen all of your recent battles. Therefore, in a while, I will activate my power and nurture a intergenerational God King to reverse the current situation for you." Great. The 10 great Divine Kings' faces revealed delighted looks. The outsiders had a huge population, but in terms of God Kings, they were extremely lacking. They were inferior to the human race, but with their powerful human armies, they eventually conquered the various worlds one by one. If they had enough God Kings, they wouldn't have to worry about the human race. At the same time, I will pass on a spell formation to fight against the humans. I want you to take over the mysterious Heaven Great World and capture those powerful flesh and blood. Everyone understood that even if a large number of people were to recover, they would still be inferior to powerful celestial immortals. The Holy Mother continued. Multicolored light filled the sky, enveloping the interior of the volcano. The Holy Mother disappeared, and the cocoon of light dimmed as if it had consumed a huge amount of energy. Even the brilliance it released was not as bright as before. 3 days later, God Kings will be born in the cocoon. Although their strength is inferior to yours, they can lend you a hand. Do not disappoint me. The Holy Mother's voice faded. Looking at the huge tree that was 100,000 feet tall, there were dozens of cocoons of light hanging. A God King roughly counted. A total of 67 cocoons. These cocoons were completely black and 100 feet wide. They hung on the tree as if they were growing on it. If the human race knew that the outsiders had produced 67 God Kings in 3 days, Even though their strength was inferior to the 10 great divine kings, a god king was still a god king with the combat strength of a celestial immortal. With their help, we can crush the human race alliance. We, the outsiders, have many itinerant immortals. This time, we must teach the human race a lesson. Every god king finally had a smile on their faces. Godly King Hao Tian opened his eyes. Lord, Holy Mother, the energy consumption is too great. For the time being, she can't pay attention to us. This king has already obtained the secret technique. Bang! Before godly King Hao Tian finished speaking, a huge blood vessel on the tree suddenly exploded, withered, and disappeared. The god kings were enraged. A large blood vessel ruptured. It was equivalent to a great world losing its supply. Something happened to the fire beacon continent. Godly King Heavenly Wings took a look and said in a deep voice, "At this time, something happened to the fire beacon continent. The consequences of losing a supply were undoubtedly very serious. Immediately bring people over. You must find the culprit." Godly King Hao Tian was enraged. Just now, he had guaranteed in front of the Holy Mother that nothing would happen. In the blink of an eye, one of the branches had ruptured. How could he not be enraged? "I'll go immediately," Godly King Heavenly Wings said. "The remaining God Kings guard here and wait for the God King to be nurtured. There must be no more problems," Godly King Hao Tian ordered. Even though this was the savage great world, their headquarters, they had to be careful when faced with a situation, especially when the Holy Mother expended her energy to produce white cocoons and nurture God Kings. Apart from a limited number of God Kings, the rest stayed under this volcano, waiting for the God King to be born. Apart from that, they studied the secret technique that the Holy Mother had passed down. Fire Beacon Continent, Lin Fei went straight for the root of the problem, killing his way down from the surface. Under Great Emperor Panga's array formation, unless a God King appeared, it was nearly impossible. The foreign races did not expect that someone would appear on the Fire Beacon Continent. This was a mid-level world. The arrangements left behind by the foreign races were very powerful. Unfortunately, they encountered Lin Fei. Lin Fei killed his way down from the surface. When he encountered a leader-like existence, he immediately killed him. When he saw the huge vortex below, he destroyed it with one sword strike. After killing the foreign race experts of the Fire Beacon Continent, Lin Fei stopped. He left the rest to them to handle. What exactly is this blood-colored vortex? Even though he destroyed the blood-colored vortex with one sword strike, Lin Fei did not know the origins of this blood-colored vortex. Subconsciously, this blood-colored vortex was related to the disappearance of a large number of humans. Back then, when Lin Fei saw the blood-colored vortex, he felt that it was not something good, so he directly destroyed it. City Lord, this is a member of the original royal family of the Fire Beacon Continent. A subordinate with a few noble auras. There were a few people with noble temperaments. Although they had temporarily declined, one could still see the temperament of the royal family on their faces. You are members of the royal family? Lin Fei's gaze fell upon a middle-aged man. His face was rather pale, clearly having been interrogated. Now that his strength had recovered, his complexion had changed quite a bit. "I am Adept Tianqin of the Fire Beacon Continent. I was once the master of the Fire Beacon Continent." Adept Tianqin said, "I thank you for saving us. Otherwise, all of us on the Fire Beacon Continent would have been completely annihilated." Adept Tianqin thought that they were dead for sure. His power had been sealed, making it impossible for him to break out. The foreign army had tried to break out of the encirclement several times, but were unable to. Instead, a large number of them had died. In the end, Adept Tianqin had given up. Just as he was about to lose all hope, a giant descended from the heavens and destroyed the formation, killing their experts. Adept Tianqin knew that they were saved. My lord is the leader of the Xiantian Continent Alliance. The members of the royal family behind Adept Tianqin revealed surprised expressions. So it is the leader of the Xiantian continent. This old man greets the leader. The Fire Beacon continent was very powerful, but compared to the Xiantian continent, it was nothing. The Xiantian continent was the true major world. It was more than 100 times the size of the Fire Beacon continent. Experts were as common as the clouds, not something that the Fire Beacon continent could compare to. Although he didn't know the leader's background, Adept Tianqin knew that no one would dare to say such a thing. It's just an empty title. Lin Fei smiled. I'll have to trouble Adept Tianqin to take care of the people below. Adept Tianqin was surprised. This young man was much more broad-minded than he had imagined. He had thought that the young man would control them, but after hearing this, he realized that he had been thinking too much. He felt quite ashamed. Go help them. Take care of the order and arrange for them to stay here for now. Adept Tianqin said to the clansmen behind him. There were so many people on the Fire Beacon continent. Lin Fei wasn't interested in taking care of them. Coincidentally, he had discovered the secret of the outsiders. The outsiders were quickly defeated. Unfortunately, Lin Fei didn't bring many people with him. The outsiders fled in all directions, causing quite a bit of trouble. Fortunately, the people of the Fire Beacon continent recovered their strength and joined in the chase. They had been holding back for far too long. The entire Fire Beacon continent was captured in one fell swoop. After being rescued, they immediately attacked and hunted down the outsiders, wanting nothing more than to kill them all. Sage Tianqin, I wonder if you know the origin of this crimson vortex. Lin Fei pointed at the crimson vortex that had been destroyed. Adept Tianqin gritted his teeth. This is a nourishment formation set up by the outsiders. Supposedly, it teleports to the outsiders' main camp, the Savage World. Nourishment formation? Lin Fei was a bit confused. Adept Tianqin explained. The outsiders suppressed all of the humans on the Fire Beacon continent and sent them into this blood vortex. Our flesh and blood are turned into nourishment and teleported there. As for who they teleport to, I'm not too sure. Could it be the Holy Mother? A thought emerged in Lin Fei's mind, and then it went out of control. It must be the Holy Mother. The system said that the Holy Mother needs a large amount of nourishment. Damn it, this is the outsiders' goal. Lin Fei finally understood the real goal of the outsiders. Before, he always thought that they had an aggressive nature, but now it seemed that they were doing this for the Holy Mother. Chapter 708. P.S. Thank you to Lee7894563321 * for the tip. In the boundless void, a black battleship flew across the sky, and behind it many battleships followed. There was no end in sight, and there were at least tens of thousands of battleships. These battleships were the human race's battleships. Ever since Alliance leader Lin showed off his invincible might, killing the God King of the foreign races and cutting off their main force, the foreign races lost their leader and started to collapse. The martial artists of the continent gathered together and attacked the foreign races' lone warriors. On the southern battlefront, the foreign races' main camps fell one after another, and the foreign race's warriors turned into ashes. The death of the God King caused the human race's morale to soar. They were like a hot knife cutting through butter, sweeping through everything in their path. The foreign race's armies, which had already lost their morale, continued to crumble and be destroyed. Only those who managed to return to their major worlds were lucky enough to survive. After half a month of cleansing, there were no more foreign races left on the continent. All the passageways leading to the foreign major worlds had been destroyed by the foreign races, which meant that they had lost their chance to return to the continent. The Xiantian continent, which had been in chaos for so long, finally regained its peace. The black clouds dispersed and the sun shone brightly. It was a long-awaited peace. To the continent, the foreign races had caused great damage to the continent. Who knew how many sects had lost their legacies because of this? How many sects had been annihilated because of this? How many sects had made the wrong choice because of this? How many powers had risen to power because of this? After the continent regained its peace, the Xiantian continent joined forces with the other major worlds and began to liberate the suppressed worlds. A month later, they stepped onto the final battlefield, the savage world. Although the foreign armies had retreated and their god kings had been slain, to the people of the various worlds, the foreign races would forever be a dangerous existence. This was especially true of the peerless Holy Mother. As long as she wasn't eliminated, it was possible that she would repeat the same disastrous mistakes. As for whether or not a great hero would appear by then, no one knew. The Holy Mother had to be killed. A Holy Mother who could produce a God King at any time, without question. This was an extremely dangerous thing. Thus, the scene of the warships traversing through the void towards the savage world came about. Only after the foreign races lost their Holy Mother would they be able to truly relax. They wouldn't have to worry about her any longer. Boom! 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 One warship after another charged into a brown planet. After entering this world, an aura of desolation washed over them. Everywhere they passed, there was nothing but desolation. Yellow sand danced in the air, and sand and pebbles flew everywhere, creating a whistling sound. Alliance Master, we've arrived. This is the savage world. Countless warships hovered in the sky like a dark cloud, blocking out the sun and sky. The savage great world is truly barren. Lin Fei stood at the bow of the warship. Everywhere he looked, there was nothing but desolation. There was no aura of life. No wonder they keep invading. A single world really can't satisfy them. Lin Fei had to personally oversee the Holy Mother's nest. Subconsciously, the Supreme Holy Mother was the strongest existence of the foreign races. Unfortunately, when he killed the God King back then, he had forgotten to leave one alive so that he could interrogate her for details. This was the first time they had come to the savage world. In their imaginations, the foreign races would go all out to stop them from invading the savage world. Once they conquered the savage world, the foreign races would be completely wiped out. However, the scene before them was very different from what they had imagined. The foreign races did not attack. In fact, there was no aura at all as far as the eye could see. It looks like the foreign races are planning to fight a decisive battle with us. Tell them to fan out. Once they see the foreign races' army, fire the divine martial cannons. Don't give them any chances. Lin Fei smiled as he gave the order. The eyes of the people behind him twitched. They really wanted to say, "Alliance Master, why do we need to use the divine martial cannons against these cannon fodder? It's too wasteful." Each of the elite warships was equipped with a divine martial cannon. In Lin Fei's words, since they were allies, he was willing to sell them such a powerful weapon at a low price. Others could forget about it. Lin Fei naturally earned a lot of money. Unfortunately, they were still worrying about how to obtain more resources. The divine martial cannon was a bottomless pit. No matter how rich they were, they might not be able to support it. The warships continued to fan out. As they continued to head deeper, they did not see any foreign races appear. It was as though they had completely disappeared, giving up on the savage wilderness world. The savage wilderness world was very large, even larger than the Xiantian continent. However, it was extremely desolate. Sand and pebbles flew everywhere, and there was no sign of life at all. The commonly seen plants and trees were completely extinct in the savage wilderness world. There was no trace of them at all. The system's words were correct. The foreign races are innately the locusts. Wherever they go, they empty out everything. The savage wilderness world really does suit the characteristics of the foreign races. Lin Fei silently thought to himself. Half a day later, an enormous golden castle suddenly appeared at the end of the horizon, as well as a black mass of foreign races. A desolate aura surged towards them. So the foreign races had long since made preparations for a major battle. They had been standing guard at their headquarters. So many foreign races formed a black mass. Dark clouds covered the sky, and a desolate aura surged towards the heavens. Upon seeing such a large number of foreign races, everyone finally understood why Lin Fei had suggested to bombard the foreign races with cannons. At the very least, it would save them trouble and reduce unnecessary casualties. We can only win this battle. We cannot lose. Lin Fei's gaze was resolute. I'll leave the matters outside to you. Lin Fei had come for this battle for the sake of the Holy Mother, of everyone present. Only he could fight against the Holy Mother. If this scourge wasn't eliminated, it would be hard for the continent to find peace. Ever since he had obtained the bloodline of this world, Lin Fei had viewed himself as a person of this world. Those distant memories were now buried deep within his mind, and he truly viewed himself as a part of the Xiantian continent. Alliance Master, don't worry. We'll definitely annihilate everything that happens outside. The Fiend Lord's killing intent surged. This time, their Devil Gate had suffered heavy losses. Attack! Lin Fei's voice was loud and clear, and it exploded in the skies like thunder. What followed was the sound of the outsiders attacking as well. The outsiders swarmed forward like a tidal wave. Divine Martial Cannon, fire! In the face of so many outsiders, the Divine Martial Cannon showed its might. Boom, boom, boom! Brilliant beams of light tore through the skies and exploded within the outsider's army, causing huge shockwaves to sweep out. One outsider's body after another was torn apart by the shockwaves. Blood rained down from the sky, landing on the dried yellow sand. The Divine Martial Cannon is so powerful. Tai cheered loudly. Its power was unparalleled, but it used up so much energy that even he felt pained. For the sake of the outsiders, it was all worth it. Chapter 709. What? The outsiders are plundering so many people for the sake of the outsiders' Holy Mother? To heal the wounds left behind by that battle? When this news reached the Xiantian continent, the entire human race alliance was completely shocked. They were truly frightened by this news. Ever since they had reclaimed the northern part of the continent, they had discovered an important problem. A large number of the human race had disappeared. Aside from a limited number of major factions that had managed to preserve their population, almost all other places had been wiped out. Everyone had been guessing where the human population had gone. Most people believed that the human race had been plundered by the outsiders and had become their slaves to mine resources. They hadn't thought about the other reasons. When they heard the news from Lin Fei, they were all shocked. This news was world-shaking. There was no way they could relate it to the disappearance of the human race. Thus, they had their previous doubts. Despicable. This is too despicable. No wonder the outsiders are constantly invading other worlds. If we had known this would happen, we would have intervened long ago to stop them. That's why things have come to this. Our Xiantian continent is a major world. A large number of people have disappeared. Mid-level worlds and minor worlds can't compare to us. Right now, the only thing we need to know is how much the outsider's Holy Mother has recovered. That's right. The outsider's most powerful being is the Holy Mother. Even the divine kings were created by the Holy Mother's power. If the Holy Mother's injuries have fully recovered, it will be very disadvantageous for us. I suggest we send troops to liberate the other worlds and stop the outsiders from continuing. Their understanding of the outsiders' Holy Mother was limited to rumors. It had happened so long ago that they had almost forgotten about the Holy Mother. 100,000 years? 1,000,000 years? It had been too long. They couldn't remember clearly. It had been passed down from generation to generation. The news about the Holy Mother had been passed down from a long time ago. Back then, the Holy Mother's divine might had reached the heavens. She had countless experts under her command. She had established a peerless outsider's divine kingdom and enslaved the human race. The outsiders called themselves nobles. After that, the cruelty of the outsiders incited the resistance of the human race. They united the various worlds and fought a long war. In the end, the Heaven Realm sent down many immortal clones to fight against the outsiders' Holy Mother. The outsider race's Holy Mother was extremely powerful. Even when the Heaven Realm immortals descended to the mortal world, they were still killed by the outsider race's Holy Mother. It was difficult for them to resist, and they suffered heavy losses. In the end, a supreme expert sent down his will and forced the outsider race's Holy Mother into the endless void. Only then did he manage to injure her. Unfortunately, the outsider race's Holy Mother used a peerless divine ability to escape. From then on, the outsiders completely retreated, and the peerless outsider's divine kingdom fell apart. The human race once again became the masters of the continent. For generations, it was passed down that when the Holy Mother appeared, she had to be killed. They knew how powerful the Holy Mother was. Unmatched experts attacked, yet they couldn't kill her. Even though afterwards, the unmatched experts used great divine abilities to search for the Holy Mother, in the end, they still failed, having no choice but to return dejectedly. After that battle, most of the alien race's experts were killed, and the alien race's strength was greatly reduced. They were no longer as powerful as before, and the Holy Mother of the alien race had disappeared. Back then, they had at most heard of the Holy Mother's strength, but they had never seen it for themselves. The news that Lin Fei sent back really moved them. They finally understood why their ancestors had left behind the ancient instruction to kill the Holy Mother. Unfortunately, they had never taken it seriously. In addition, the various forces on the continent weren't as united as they used to be. They were fighting for themselves against the alien race, and in addition to the competition for benefits, who would go and kill the Holy Mother of the alien race. If it wasn't for the fact that the continent was about to be conquered by the alien race, this alliance meeting might not have happened. They would probably still be fighting for themselves, resulting in a large number of sects being destroyed by the alien race. Lin Fei's news was too important. Thus, after some discussion, the human alliance reached an agreement to liberate the other worlds. One reason was to stop the population from disappearing, and the other was to build an anti-alien army. Every world had experts. Even though the worlds had been conquered, it didn't mean that all the human experts had been killed. Liberating the large worlds was a good thing to kill two birds with one stone. In the endless void, the Heavenly Wings Divine King brought a group of experts and rushed to the Fire Beacon world to find the culprit. The Fire Beacon world was a place to transport nourishment. It happened to be under the jurisdiction of the Heavenly Wings Divine King. He was full of anger. In his opinion, it was definitely the work of the human resistance army. He regretted not completely killing them back then, resulting in such a thing happening. He was truly unwilling. I've arrived at the Fire Beacon world. The Heavenly Wings Divine King broke through the barrier and once again arrived at the Fire Beacon world. Damned humans, all of you deserve to die. Once he entered the Fire Beacon world, the Heavenly Wings Divine King sensed that his subordinates of the alien race were constantly being killed. Blood flowed like a river, and the horizon was one color. How dare you? You killed our people from the outsiders and still dare to swagger around? This time, we'll definitely annihilate all of you to vent our anger. The Holy Mother's revival was imminent, and such a thing happened. The Heavenly Wings Divine King could not remain calm. If he was punished by the Holy Mother, he would lose all his face. Even if the Heavenly Wings Divine King did not let him come, the Heavenly Wings Divine King would take the initiative to ask to come. Let's go. The Heavenly Wings Divine King led the experts and flew to the Imperial Palace that was originally controlled by the alien race. He wanted to kill them all to vent his anger. Within the Imperial Palace, Sage Tianqin was inviting Lin Fei to a banquet. Through his acquaintances, he learned that Lin Fei was a monstrous, rising genius of the Xiantian continent. Alliance Leader Lin, we will build an army as soon as possible and join the human alliance. We will do our part to fight against the alien army. Sage Tianqin picked up his wine cup and took the initiative to drink. Lin Fei was quite satisfied with Sage Tianqin's actions. The alien army was enormous. The human race had to constantly work together in order to defeat the enemy. Fighting against the alien army is everyone's responsibility. I'll drink this cup. Lin Fei also picked up his wine cup and drank it in one gulp. Rumble. Suddenly the earth shook. The imperial palace was not spared. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Everyone flew out of the imperial palace and stopped in midair. They saw a group of experts with alien auras charging in. Everywhere they passed, corpses were everywhere. Sage Tianqin's eyes were bloodshot. It's you damned alien race again. I will kill you all. Kill us all? Just you? An arrogant voice resounded in the sky. The heavenly wings, divine king, strode forward. His enormous heavenly wings flapped, and an arrow flew out. No one could block it. Heavenly wings, divine king. Sage Tianqin gritted his teeth and stared at the heavenly wings, divine king. That day I could suppress you once. Today I can still kill you. The heavenly wings, divine king's eyes were as sharp as swords, and they exploded with killing intent. Heavenly wings, divine king, you talk big. Have you forgotten the loss last time? Just as the heavenly wings, divine king, was about to kill Sage Tianqin, a sudden voice shook his heart. It was familiar. He turned and saw a smiling face, and his face darkened. Chapter 710. It's you, Demon Lin. Just a few words contained God King, heavenly wings, endless resentment. He understood why Fire Beacon World would fall and why Demon Lin would be here. Anyway, if Demon Lin was here, then it definitely wouldn't be a good thing. The truth proved that God King, heavenly wings guess was right. Demon Lin definitely had something to do with the Fire Beacon World going out of control. God King, heavenly wings, hated himself. Why did he meet Demon Lin here? Before Lin Fan became a sky immortal, he had suffered at his hands. Moreover, after becoming a sky immortal, he felt uneasy. Why? Are you surprised? Lin Fei smiled and said to God King, heavenly wings, were you the one who did this? God King, heavenly wings, suppressed his anger. Lin Fei curled his lips and found it funny. Wasn't he asking the obvious? Since you are so sincere, I might as well tell you directly. I was passing by and saw the alien race here, so I casually cleaned it up. Are you satisfied with this answer? God King, heavenly wings stared. So, you destroyed the blood-colored whirlpool. Why? There was an accident. I thought it was too little and was prepared to search. Do you still want to find trouble with me? Lin Fei smiled. I am here to find trouble with you. God King, heavenly wings, really wanted to say that, but he couldn't. He held his breath and felt really pained. You are going against the alien race. God King, heavenly wings, laughed coldly. You will pay the price for your stupidity sooner or later. I guarantee it. Perfected Tianqin, who was standing behind Lin Fei, heard it and was shocked. He thought to himself, this alliance leader Lin is really not simple. With just a few words, he managed to suppress a God King. Are the rumors on the continent true? Before this, perfected Tianqin had his doubts. No matter how monstrous a person was, he couldn't sit in the position of alliance leader. One's reputation could be bragged about. But after seeing the scene in front of him, he was completely convinced. As expected, he was a monster. God King Heavenly Wings was furious and looked like he would attack at any moment. Perfected Tianqin could clearly see that God King Heavenly Wings was suppressing his anger and didn't want to attack. This meant that God King Heavenly Wings was afraid of Alliance Leader Lin. Apart from this reason, what else could there be? Awesome. Your guarantee is useless, but I can guarantee that you won't be able to leave this place today." Lin Fei took a step forward. "Who asked you to be so lucky to run into me?" Today, Lin Fei was prepared to kill a god king. Skysplit Tower suppress. With this attack, the Heavenly Wings Divine King's enormous body moved, riding the wind and traveling hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. Heavenly Wings Divine King had long been on guard. Once Demon Lin attacked, he immediately activated it and broke through the void, appearing hundreds of thousands of miles away. "Demon Lin, just you wait. I will beat you up sooner or later." The Heavenly Wings Divine King really could not muster up any desire to fight. That demonic Lin was too monstrous. It was better for him to leave as soon as possible, in case he failed miserably. With a flap of his wings, he was hundreds of thousands of miles away. After all, the Heavenly Wings Divine King was good at speed. In a few breaths, he was millions of miles away. He could escape immediately. "Humph! I'll show you the true power of a godly aura." Lin Fei was not in a hurry. The sky-split divine tower expanded infinitely. Treasure light shone brightly, illuminating half of the fire beacon continent. Crack, 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 the Heavenly Wings Divine King, who was fleeing, suddenly felt a mountain-like pressure. His body was pressed down, and he broke out in a cold sweat. Then he saw a divine tower fly out and press down on his enormous body. It fell out of the void and smashed into the ground, forming a huge crater. The Heavenly Wings Divine King was smashed so hard that he saw stars. His internal organs seemed to have shifted, and he felt extremely uncomfortable. What the hell? What kind of celestial artifact is this? I've already fled millions of miles away. The Heavenly Wings Divine King was covered in cold sweat. He struggled to fly away, but the sky-split divine tower was like an existence that could not be moved. It pressed down on him, making him unable to move. How is it? My sky-split divine tower tastes good, right? Activating the sky-split with the combat power of a celestial immortal was truly an unparalleled celestial artifact. It could easily sweep through all directions. Even though it could not kill him, Lin Fei could still suppress him. The Heavenly Wings Divine King revealed a gloomy expression. "Do you think you can trap me like this? You think too highly of yourself. Transform." A glint of unwillingness flashed across the Heavenly Wings Divine King's eyes. His enormous body suddenly exploded, and the sky-split divine tower missed and smashed into the ground. Within 10,000 miles, it instantly sank and turned into a huge crater. Hundreds and thousands of the Heavenly Wings Divine King fled in all directions. It was hard to tell which of them was real and which was fake. Divine fire filling the sky, seal the void. The Heavenly Wings Divine King was fast, but Lin Fei was even faster. The sea of fire filled the sky, and heaven and earth formed a line, forming a huge fire cage. Divine sword unsheathing. A Jingguang flew out, and the divine sword turned into a golden dragon that swept out. Bang, 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 bang. With the divine sword activated, it crushed all the clones. The Heavenly Wings Divine King's clones were continuously crushed into powder. How can he be so strong? The clones kept losing, and the Heavenly Wings Divine King kept coughing up blood. This life-saving divine ability had always been successful, and it had never failed before. Run, run, run. The Heavenly Wings Divine King really couldn't believe it. Chi, 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 the scorching flames burned, and the clones were burned. I can't go up, but I can go down to the ground, right? The Heavenly Wings Divine King changed his direction. He couldn't go up, but he could lock down the ground. Just as he charged down from the sky, the flames on the ground filled the sky, forming an inescapable net. Even though he knew that Demon Lin's strange fire was very domineering, he didn't expect it to be even more domineering than before. Since the divine sword was out, the Heavenly Wings Divine King was the one suffering. His clones kept being killed. His combat power had increased greatly, and he also had 2 supreme swords. Lin Fei really didn't have to worry about dealing with a single Heavenly Wings Divine King. Path to Heaven. Lin Fei once again took out the heaven-reaching divine tower. Don't you like clones? I'll destroy all of them. The path to heaven was even more domineering. It carried with it the might of the heavens, and as it pressed down, the clones were defeated even faster. The loss of each clone made the Heavenly Wings Divine King feel so much pain that he wanted to die. The Heavenly Wings Divine King might have used his clones to escape, but in reality, each clone was a part of him. Now that he was continuously being slaughtered, the one who suffered losses was the Heavenly Wings Divine King himself. He was continuously killed by Demon Lin, and the Heavenly Wings Divine King really regretted using his divine ability. This wasn't a good thing that came knocking on his door. Demon Lin, you are so vicious. The Heavenly Wings Divine King didn't dodge anymore. His essence, energy, and spirit were greatly damaged. Vicious. Lin Fei shook his head. Compared to your alien race's viciousness, I am much kinder. Who asked you to be so lucky to meet me today? Outside, Perfected Tianqin and the others were fighting with the experts that the Heavenly Wings Divine King had brought. But when they saw Alliance leader Lin gain the upper hand so quickly, they were completely stunned. They were all heaven immortals, but the difference was huge. Lin Fei put away his divine sword and the divine tower. Tell me everything about the Holy Mother, as well as your future plans, and I can spare your life. Lin Fei wanted to know about the Holy Mother the most. Ha ha ha, dream on. The Heavenly Wings Divine King charged forward with a hideous smile. You will never be able to defeat our alien race. Long live the Holy Mother. The Heavenly Wings Divine King self-destructed. The huge explosive power formed a black tornado that headed straight for Lin Fei. He wanted to kill Lin Fei and perish together with him. God-fiend body. The huge commotion made the people who were originally fighting stop. They stared blankly at the center of the storm. The terrifying power that spread from the center could tear them apart countless times. The Divine King self-destructed. Perfected Tianqin was speechless. It was hard to imagine that the Divine King, who was synonymous with ferocity and strength, would choose to self-destruct. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have thought that such a day would come. Alliance leader Lin will be fine, right? Perfected Tianqin was worried. It was unbelievable to make a divine king self-destruct. It was to the extent that a divine king would be so desperate that he had no choice but to self-destruct. Unfortunately, your self-destruction can't kill me. Lin Fei stood in the sky, completely unharmed as he muttered to himself. Come out, Heavenly Wings Divine King. The divine sword transformed into a stream of light and slashed at the void, forcing out a person. Heavenly Wings Divine King appeared in front of Lin Fei with a pale face. He roared, "Even my self-destruction could not kill you. Could it be that you were born to be the nemesis of us alien races?" The Heavenly Wings Divine King was completely in despair. The current Heavenly Wings Divine King was just a true spirit, an existence similar to an essence soul. He could no longer calm down and began to despair. Heavenly Wings Divine King, you are really powerful. I was almost fooled by you. Lin Fei said, "Unfortunately, I was so close. You alien race, especially your divine kings, are all afraid of death. Do you think it's possible for you to self-destruct with me? Please don't be so flashy next time. Aren't you telling me that there's something wrong with you?" Lin Fei exposed Heavenly Wings Divine King's goal. Heavenly Wings Divine King had to admit that he had underestimated this Demon Lin. If he had been ruthless and fought to the death, there wouldn't have been such a scene today. Just as Lin Fei had said, Heavenly Wings Divine King was afraid of death. If not, he wouldn't have run so quickly. He had wanted to self-destruct to kill Demon Lin, even though he would be greatly injured afterwards. Once Holy Mother revived, he would recover completely. However, Demon Lin had still seen through him. I admit defeat. It's too late. Lin Fei sneered. Your Holy Mother is about to recover her strength. It's not like I don't know that. Your Holy Mother even used energy to give birth to a powerful existence. She gave you a chance, but you didn't know how to cherish it. What? How did you know that Holy Mother would give birth to a divine king? The moment Heavenly Wings' divine king spoke, he immediately knew that he had been fooled. It was too late. You lied to me. Lin Fei's heart sank. So what if I lied to you? So, you want to give birth to a divine king. No wonder you need so many humans. However, you can die now. Divine sword slash. Lin Fei didn't need to ask anything else. I can't accept this. Heavenly Wings' divine king roared before he died. Chapter 711. The Skywings God King was actually killed. The people below did not know what words to use to describe the opponent's divine might. The black-haired youth in the sky had become an invincible god of war in their eyes. He looked down upon the world, an ancient, invincible existence. They all knew how powerful the Skywings God King was. When the Skywings God King had come personally, he had easily defeated Adept Tianqin and reduced him to a prisoner. Today, the Skywings God King had been utterly defeated. The Xiantian continent truly had many geniuses. Adept Tianqin sighed from the bottom of his heart. There were many geniuses in the Fire Beacon continent, but none of them could compare to Alliance leader Lin. But for Lin Fei, killing a God King gave him a large amount of experience and an enormous amount of energy. While he was happy and excited, he also felt a certain amount of pressure. This Holy Mother is truly incredible. I'm afraid that soon she will no longer be one of the 10 great God Kings. Lin Fei said to himself. It looks like I have to finish this quickly. After flying down from the sky, Lin Fei briefly explained the situation. The Fire Beacon continent seemed safe, but after he killed the Skywings God King, Lin Fei believed that the 10 great God Kings would come in person. By then, Adept Tianqin and the others would be the unlucky ones. Alliance leader Lin, the people of the Fire Beacon continent are willing to join the Xiantian continent. Spiritual Master Tianqin couldn't even defeat a single Heavenly Wings divine king, let alone the rest of the divine kings. If they all attacked at the same time, the Fire Beacon continent would truly become a river of blood. It was time to find a backer for himself. The Fire Beacon continent had very few alliances, and Adept Tianqin had always been low-key and focused on managing his own continent. In the end, when the alien races landed, they tore through the defense line like a hot knife through butter. Adept Tianqin realized what they lacked. They lacked a powerful ally. Lin Fei accepted without hesitation. Although they had lost more than half of their enormous population, there were still quite a few elites left. Lin Fei took himself into the Skirich God Tower and became an additional source of strength. With the artifact refining art, Lin Fei easily mastered the Skirich God Tower and began to explore its internal space. This immortal artifact could be activated by other martial artists as well. After Lin Fei explained the reason, Spiritual Master Tianqin did not refuse. He activated the Heavenly Divine Tower and provided Lin Fei with great help. After taking the people away, Lin Fei didn't stay any longer and headed to the next location. At the same time, he sent news back and told the Alliance to pay attention to the Outlander race's reaction. Heavenly Wings' divine king has perished. The one who knew this news was God King Haoyan. His expression was also stiff. As the offspring of the Holy Mother, Divine King Haoyan and the others could not be said to be telepathic. However, they were connected by blood. The moment something happened to Divine King Heavenly Wings, he immediately sensed it. It's you again, Demon Lin. After checking it out, God King Haoyan gritted his teeth. Fiend Lin, you've obstructed us time and time again. I really regret not paying the price back, then to destroy you. After learning that the Heavenly Wings God King had perished, all the God Kings flew into a rage and roared nonstop. They were truly agitated by Demon Lin's actions. They, the 10 great Divine Kings, had been through a huge battle and lived until now. Now that one of them was killed, it was equivalent to giving them a slap on the face. How could they not be angry now? Divine King Hao Yen, let me lead the army to Fire Beacon Continent and slaughter those people to take revenge for Heavenly Wings God King. Crimson Light God King had a good relationship with Heavenly Wings God King, so he stood out with a murderous expression. Demon Lin slaughtered his way to Fire Beacon Continent. He definitely knows about the blood-colored whirlpool. He might be able to guess our objective. Transformation God King had a grave expression. Bang, bang, bang! On the huge blood-colored tree, the blood vessels burst in an instant. Ah! It's that Demon Lin again. At this moment, they didn't need to guess to know that other than Demon Lin, no one else could do such a thing. Even Heavenly Wings God King had died in his hands, let alone the other continents. They were practically no match for him, so the blood-colored whirlpool would naturally be destroyed. Divine King Hao Yen was also anxious. If this situation continued, there would be a huge problem with the transportation. They definitely couldn't continue like this. Giant Eye God King, Crimson Light God King, Transformation God King, Mermaid God King, the 4 of you lead the army to seal the void and chase after Demon Lin. We mustn't let him stop and continue to destroy. Divine King Hao Yen was filled with murderous intent. As long as we can hold on for 3 days, let the Divine Kings breed first. In a middle-grade world, Lin Fei used Great Emperor Pangu to sweep the foreign race army. The heaven and earth smelt continuously refined tens of thousands of foreign races, and his strength was continuously increasing. Boom! The 4 great Divine Kings led the army into the middle-grade world. Demon Lin die. Once the 4 great Divine Kings entered the world, their consciousness found traces of Demon Lin. When they saw that Demon Lin was slaughtering under their rage, for powerful forces tore open the void and blasted towards Demon Lin. Their speed is so fast. Lin Fei stopped his massacre. After taking a look, he knew that they were in a state of rage. It seems like they can't take the damage from the blood-colored whirlpool and are furious. Otherwise, they wouldn't have chased after me. Unfortunately, they discovered it too late. Now, they destroy everything they see. Lin Fei thought to himself, let's go. Lin Fei didn't plan to fight them. Space lock. The 4 great godly kings gave the order, and the huge outsiders used the space locking formation. With a whoosh, the entire world was locked down. This ability could only be perfectly executed by the foreign races who had the numbers advantage. Lin Fei was blocked back, and the void was completely locked. Under the rage of the 4 great Divine Kings, they executed supreme divine arts and attacked him. They wanted to make him stay here forever. Open, Lin Fei didn't panic. He executed his strength and slashed at the void with all his might. After refining large amounts of foreign races, Lin Fei gave off a powerful aura. With one move of the divine sword, he broke the lock. Sorry, I'll be leaving first. Chase! The faces of the 4 great Divine Kings turned black. After setting up the space lock formation, Demon Lin still escaped. That was just too despicable. The only thing worth being happy about was that Demon Lin wasn't strong enough to fight against the 4 of them. They didn't have to worry about him. Since they couldn't trap Demon Lin, the only thing they could do was to chase and kill him. They couldn't let him continue to destroy and affect the foreign race's plan. It seems like they really want to waste time with me. Lin Fei turned his head and looked at the 4 great Divine Kings. I'll let you be smug for a while longer. When the time comes, you will all cry, another middle-grade world. Lin Fei charged in and headed straight for the foreign race's base. The sword formation struck. First, He broke the blood-colored whirlpool and cut off the connection. Then he activated the heaven and earth furnace to crazily plunder people. Chapter 712. The fact that the 4 great god kings were working together to kill Demon Lin could not be concealed. The people of the Xiantian continent immediately knew. What greeted them was madness. Even though the human alliance had reclaimed their territory, everyone still felt as though something was missing. In fact, they were lacking a piece of exciting news. The fall of the Heavenly Wings Divine King was undoubtedly a heavy bomb on the path of anti-foreign races. Everyone was excited. Lin Fei did not know that killing the Heavenly Wings God King had not only brought excitement to the continent, but also morale. It had swept away the morale of the alien races. When Lin Fei became the alliance leader, it caused people to change their views. Then, when he killed Heavenly Wings God King, it caused people to worship him endlessly. Even the higher-ups of the Alliance didn't know how much of a reaction Alliance leader Lin had brought to the continent. It could be said that the morale of the human race's side was high, sweeping away the previous low morale. If they were to launch an all-out attack now, their combat strength would increase by 20 to 30%. Tai Yi and the others wanted to help Lin Fei, but Lin Fei refused. He told them to be on guard against the alien races and not to worry about him. The 4 god kings could not hurt him for now. The 4 great god kings chased after Demon Lin but were unable to succeed. One had to say that it was a headache. What does Demon Lin want to do? Wild, great world. Divine King Hao Tian analyzed the news that came back. It was okay if Demon Lin specialized in destroying the blood-colored whirlpool. However, Demon Lin had a celestial artifact that plundered the alien race's population. Increase my strength? God King Hao Tian didn't think that Demon Lin had such terrifying strength to complete it. Wasn't he afraid that he would explode? He had never heard of a person who could continuously steal people to increase his strength. Did he think that he was a bottomless pit? If that was the case, Demon Lin would have been invincible and wouldn't have been chased. Continue to pursue him. It would be best if you can get him as far away from the Xiantian continent as possible. It would be best if he doesn't return during this period of time. Godly King Hao Tian reminded, he doesn't like to liberate the great 1,000 worlds. Let him go. Your mission is to not let him return. Even if he couldn't kill Demon Lin, God King Hao Tian wasn't anxious. If he couldn't return, it would be a great merit. It would prevent him from spoiling his plans. It wouldn't be too late to deal with Demon Lin after the dust settled. In a few days, Divine King Hao Tian would launch an all-out counterattack. Under the crater of the volcano, Divine King Hao Tian tore open the void and arrived. On the blood-colored tree, the light cocoons were almost transparent. One could see many godly kings inside. They were of all shapes and sizes, and not a single one of them was the same. Not long after, the godly kings would be successfully reproduced, and the outsiders would gain a great helping hand. It would be enough to turn the situation around and break through the defense of the human clan in a crushing manner. God King! The guardian God King came forward to greet them. God King Hao Tian's gaze landed on the cocoon of light. Luckily, we plundered a large number of people back then. Otherwise, if Demon Lin really affected our progress, all of this would become a thing of the past. The God King is coming out. Pa, 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 pa. The translucent light cocoons on the blood-colored tree exploded one after another. One after another, the godly kings of alien races descended from them. As they opened their eyes, the aura of sky immortals filled the mouth of the volcano. One by one, the god kings stood on the lava. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, 67 god kings stood on the lava together. God King Clear Sky laughed out loud. Welcome, god kings. From this day forth, we are all brothers and sisters, and we will serve the Holy Mother together. Serve the Holy Mother. Serve the Holy Mother. The 67 godly kings said in unison. Their voices reverberated through the vast, savage world. Large swathes of the alien race army knelt down one after another. Demon Lin should have died outside. There's no justice in the world if he didn't die. The Mystic Gate was in charge of a stronghold on the northern front, on the northern and southern battlefronts. Every position had a general guarding it. The Mystic Gate happened to be one of them. When he heard that Demon Lin was being hunted, the sect leader of the Mystic Gate, Zhang Yi, couldn't calm his heart. If it wasn't for Demon Lin, he wouldn't have had to bleed so much and get extorted by the Myth City. Why would he have come to such a place where he had power but no fame? Reverend Zhang Yi was the happiest one when the 4 godly kings chased after Demon Lin. From the bottom of his heart, he looked down on this country bumpkin Lin Fei. He felt that Lin Fei was lucky, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to sit in this position. Although Reverend Zhang Yi was in charge of a stronghold, in reality his power was suppressed. The person in charge of controlling the generals wasn't from the Mystic Gate either. What else could Reverend Zhang Yi say? He could only endure it. Demon Lin had won over everyone. In addition, he had killed the Heavenly Wings godly king, causing his reputation to soar. All the young people worshipped him. It wasn't appropriate for him to go against him now. If Reverend Gentleman had become the Supreme Alliance leader, things wouldn't have turned out like this. Reverend Zhang Yi shook his head. He really couldn't accept it. In order to get Demon Lin's forgiveness, he had personally gone to the Myth City and been extorted by that *** to Sage. He had been suppressing this anger in his heart. As a sect leader, he had to compromise. Even if he died, he wouldn't have the face to meet the old ancestor. Of all the past sect leaders, he was probably the most tragic one. Who? In the room, there was a wave of energy, and then a person appeared. Sect leader, it's me, Reverend Buhui. Reverend Zhang Yi waved his hand and set up a formation. When he saw that Reverend Buhui had broken his rules and come out on his own, he was filled with anger. Reverend Buhui, who allowed you to come out? Don't you know the impact this will have on the sect? Are you trying to harm the sect? Today, the power of the Celestial Sect was greatly affected, especially with the addition of the Human Race Alliance. One could imagine what would happen if Reverend Buhui, who had ordered him to face the wall and not come out, appeared here. Boom! Another aura descended, and a person appeared beside Reverend Buhui. Senior brother, I was the one who asked Master to come out. A bright and clear voice came from the scholarly young man. Reverend Gentleman. Reverend Zhang Yi was shocked. He didn't expect that his junior brother, Reverend Gentleman, would dare to come here. Didn't he know that the people of the continent were chasing him? That's right, I'm back, Reverend Gentleman said calmly. As for the matter that senior brother is worried about, there's no need to worry. Demon Lin has only increased his strength after autumn. He won't be able to jump around for long. Sect leader, our celestial sect is one of the superpowers. How can we be restrained by a continent alliance? Reverend Buhui said, now that junior brother Reverend Gentleman has returned, Demon Lin won't be able to jump around for long. At first, Reverend Zhang Yi was worried about being noticed because of Reverend Buhui's appearance. After a moment, he understood. Junior brother, could it be that something has changed? Reverend Gentleman smiled. Senior brother, Demon Lin is forcing you and oppressing our celestial sect. I'm not willing to accept this before I ascend. So I'm here to give you an idea. As long as you control the generals outside, the Human Race Alliance will collapse on its own. Reverend Zhang Yi immediately understood. You and young Master Divine Sword are siding with the foreign races? No. Reverend Gentleman shook his head. We're just working with the foreign races. They're not worthy of our allegiance. Moreover, junior brother is about to ascend. Is there a need for that? There's no harm in telling senior brother that the foreign races have more than 70 celestial immortals. Do you think there's any hope for the human race? What, more than 70 celestial immortals? Reverend Zhang Yi was stunned. Senior brother, You don't need to worry about the generals outside. As long as you lure them in, there's nothing to fear." Reverend Gentleman smiled. Reverend Zhang Yu was silent for a moment. For the sake of the celestial sect, what harm is there in temporarily cooperating with the foreign races? When do we make our move? Over 70 God Kings was simply a one-sided situation. The Human Race Alliance simply couldn't stop them. I'll have to trouble Senior Brother to lure them in now. Reverend Gentleman smiled. Trust me, I have a way. Junior Brother, don't worry. I'll arrange for someone to invite them in. I believe we still have to give them some face. After all, our celestial sect is one of the 11 representatives. As expected, Taoist Master Zhang Yi used his words and reputation to trick the general in charge of guarding the place. The three of them took action and suppressed the general. I'll have to trouble Senior Brother to personally oversee things. After Reverend Gentleman gave some instructions, he tore open the void and entered it, sending out a message. The celestial sect has succeeded. Reverend Gentleman's eyes were filled with boundless resentment as he looked in the direction of Mythology City. Just you wait. Your position as the Alliance Master is about to arrive. Northern Front Headquarters, on this day at noon, in the sky above the vast continent. Dark clouds covered the continent, following which a huge face appeared. Foolish humans, don't think that you've already won. In the eyes of our foreign races, you're just a joke. The deafening rumble echoed across the entire continent like a clap of thunder, striking the hearts of the crowd. It's Godly King Hao Tian, Tai, the Demon Lord, and the Sea God Emperor flew out from the headquarters. When they saw the huge face in the sky, they revealed looks of surprise. What were the foreign races going to do now? Godly King Hao Tian, don't play any tricks. If you have the ability, let's go all out. The Demon Lord raised his head and sneered. We've already arranged for people to attack the worlds you control. Don't even think about reviving the Holy Mother's hope. Insignificant humans, so what if you know? Godly King Hao Tian was expressionless and unmoved. I'll give you half a day. After half a day, if you don't surrender, our foreign races will start a massacre. That's all I have to say. Think about it. Godly King Hao Tian's face exploded in the sky above the Xiantian continent. The world returned to normal. The foreign races are attacking. The Demon Lord frowned. A few days ago, they were so timid. Now that they've made it public, could it be that they have some help? Chapter 713. The Human Alliance moved. The foreign races were going to fight a decisive battle. What did the humans have to fear? Their morale was high now. Who was afraid of who? On the northern battlefront, the defending generals were on guard, waiting for the foreign races to appear and give them an unforgettable memory. At every stronghold, the human morale was high. Alliance Chief Lin could even kill a godly king, let alone the other godly kings. Without the Alliance Chief, they had inherited the spirit of charging forward and could still defeat the foreign races. Time flew. Half a day passed. On the vast southern continent, a black army appeared, covering the entire sky. It was as if the night had come, just as Godly King Hao Tian had said. Attack! The loud rumbling was like a thunderclap on a sunny day. The black army covered the sky, covering the entire south. It looked as if they had come out in full force. The terrifying aura was like the waves of the sea, coming wave after wave. Formation! At the stronghold, the general summoned Great Emperor Pengu. He stared at the foreign race army in the distance, revealing a rare, solemn expression. Foolish humans, let me show you the true power of the foreign races. Godly King Hao Tian's Godly King voice came again. Boom, boom, boom! Celestial immortal auras surged into the sky, one after another. In front of the black army, godly kings appeared, their auras rippling. So many godly kings. How is this possible? How did the foreign races produce so many godly kings? There are at least 50 godly kings. The godly kings appeared together, Their auras joined together, and their killing intent soared. The expressions of everyone on the human alliances side changed drastically due to the sudden change in events. They stared at the god kings who had appeared as they doubted their eyes. 67 godly kings. The final number was like a blow to the head, shattering the morale that they had worked so hard to raise. Unknowingly, their hearts sank. They had underestimated the foreign race's ability. Without batting an eyelid, they had created a grand array of 67 godly kings. Even if they were not as strong as the 10 great godly kings, they were still genuine godly kings. On the side of the human race, there was no way they could produce so many celestial immortals. Humans, today will be your doomsday. Pass on my order. Mobilize the army and attack. Godly King Hautian waved his hand, his voice reverberating in the southern continent. Kill! Their orderly voices shook the heavens and the earth, as if they were going to blast a huge hole in the sky. Formation! The dense black army transformed into 67 giants. Each giant was no weaker than a general. Their terrifying auras once again caused the hearts of the humans to sink. The strange races also found a joint attack formation, and their momentum was shocking. Fight! The generals on the battlefront charged out with the sky-splitting swords in their hands, fighting against the non-human generals. The energy ripples in the sky tore open the void, and the entire sky was incomplete. Let's go too. The Fiend Lord and the others all made their moves at this moment. The outsiders were too domineering. Dozens of generals attacked at once, catching them off guard. They had underestimated the outsiders and suppressed them in terms of overall strength. If they didn't kill their godly kings now, once they fell into a disadvantageous position, they would be at a disadvantage in this battle. They knew that this battle would be extremely difficult, and there might even be casualties. A world of ice and snow. The Ice Palace's Ice Fairy had a frosty expression as she slashed out with her sword. She trapped a god-king battle general in a world of ice and snow and started to fight with him. Star-chasing arrow, Tai transformed into a giant holding a demon bow. His divine arrows shocked the heavens and earth lost color at this moment. He unleashed all his mystiques and began to fight with his life on the line. He couldn't let the outsiders break through the battlefront. Ha ha ha, you humans! Today is your doomsday! Godly King Hautian flew up and stared straight at the Fiend Lord. Fiend Lord, rumor has it that your demonic arts are monstrous. Today I will kill you. As you wish. The Fiend Lord stepped through the air, his eyes filled with murderous intent that pierced through the void. Supreme Demon Kingdom, lock the heavens and earth. A supreme demon kingdom with demonic soldiers and generals appeared behind the Fiend Lord. At this moment, the Fiend Lord transformed into a supreme demon king and trapped Godly King Hautian in the supreme demon kingdom. Saint's divine fist breaks kingdom. Godly King Hautian's aura surged, and the millions of kingdoms behind him shattered. On the north-south battlefield, the situation was one-sided. There were too many godly king battle generals. Zhang Yizhenren, come and kill this godly king with me. Ice Palace's elder called out to Zhang Yizhenren. She was suppressing a godly king battle general, and with the battle general's help, she only needed one more helper to kill the godly king battle general. Godly king battle general, die. Zhang Yizhenren took out the last treasure of the Taoist sect, the righteous sword, and stabbed at the godly king battle general. With that, the godly king battle general would definitely die. Just when everyone thought that the god king battle emperor was about to die, Reverend Zhang Yi smiled strangely. His sword stance changed, slashing down on the Ice Palace elder's body. The Ice Palace elder's body exploded, and he was heavily injured. Zhang Yizhenren, you actually sided with the outsiders. The Ice Palace elder was shocked. At this critical moment, Zhang Yizhenren betrayed them. You talk too much. Stupid woman, you can die now. Zhang Yizhenren slashed out again. righteous energy surged, and the godly king battle general was gone. He also slashed out, and with the power of 2 experts, the Ice Palace Elder was killed on the spot. Elder, the Ice Fairy, who had been fighting the godly king battle general, saw the Ice Palace Elder die. Her eyes spat out blood, and she felt cold all over. She gave up on the godly king battle general and turned to attack Zhang Yizhenren. At this moment, a sky immortal from the human alliance had fallen. Boom! A human battle general was killed by one of Zhang Yizhenren's subordinates at the critical moment. Then, Reverend No Regret's figure was revealed. Zhang Yizhenren, you shameless bastard! The human alliance saw that Zhang Yizhenren had betrayed them at the critical moment, and all of them vomited blood. They wanted to kill Zhang Yizhenren on the spot. Dang, dang, dang. Zhang Yizhenren's righteous energy protected him and blocked the Ice Fairy's sword move. Ha ha ha! All of you have been blinded by greed. Is Demon Lin worth listening to? Let's see what he can do today. Zhang Yizhenren was having too much fun killing. Uft! Zhang Yizhenren was an experienced sky immortal. Even though the Ice Fairy was also a sky immortal, her battle power was far from his. He saw through her weakness, and she was injured. Your Ice Palace Elder is dead. You can die too. You'll have a companion on the road to hell. Zhang Yizhenren teamed up with Reverend No Regret to kill the Ice Fairy. Bastard, how dare you! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At the critical moment, Tai shot out a godly arrow, suppressing Zhang Yizhenren and Reverend No Regret. Tai's godly archery was unparalleled. Even the 2 of them didn't dare to take it head-on. They could only watch as they missed the chance to kill the Ice Fairy. Thank you, Tai. Chapter 714. In the boundless void, a black shadow turned into a stream of light and rushed out of a world. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, a few more figures caught up. They were not in a hurry and were very calm. Demon Lin runs really fast. Is his zodiac a rabbit? Why did it sound so weird? That Devil Lin probably doesn't know that Divine King Hao Tian has already brought people to counterattack. Crimson Light God King said proudly. When he finds out, it should be very interesting. Chiming, you're wrong. The Mermaid God King said, Demon Lin is currently advancing according to the route. Do you think we'll have a chance to see him? Ha ha ha. How could I have forgotten about this? Crimson Light God King came to a realization. This time, we must make it hard for Devil Lin to escape. The situation over there should be ready. We're just waiting for Demon Lin to take the bait. Giant Eye God King's killing intent surged. We didn't chase for so long in vain. What's important is that the result is worthy of us. We will hang behind and threaten Demon King Lin in case he sees any flaws. If nothing goes wrong, we will soon see Demon King Lin's expression when he can't smile. Transformation God King smiled. The 4 great God Kings chatted and laughed as they increased their speed, catching up. Give me a little more time. Sooner or later, I will deal with these 4 God Kings. Up in the void, Lin Fei was activating the heaven and earth, smelt continuously. However, there were way too many of them. It wasn't something that could be smelted out within a short period of time. City Lord, don't you feel that the 4 great divine kings are too calm? It doesn't conform to their normal state. On the warship, the Qi Lian heavenly demon said. With that said, Lin Fei noticed that their attitude towards him seemed to be a little different. Something seems to be missing. Less anger. Qi Lian heavenly demon said, even though they have been chasing behind. City Lord doesn't feel it. They purposely slowed down a bit so that City Lord can plunder those foreign races. At the start, Lin Fei didn't feel anything. But after hearing what the Qi Lian heavenly demon said, his speed slowed down. At the start, when they caught up, he had to break the formation. Later on, when he left the world, they caught up. Could they be plotting something? Lin Fei guessed. However, Xiao Chen was currently in the void, and his whereabouts were uncertain. He was not heading in a fixed direction. It seemed impossible for the Divine King to play any tricks. But why? Lin Fei couldn't think of anything for a moment. City Lord, you might as well wait for them to appear in the next world. You should be able to see some clues then. The scarlet, refined, heavenly demon reminded. Lin Fei thought about it and felt that it made sense, so he decided to do it and see what tricks they had up their sleeves. Maple World. Lin Fei showed no mercy as he mobilized the heaven and earth smelt right away. Those beneath the heavenly immortal stage were simply incapable of resisting against such a plunder, and were all sucked into the heaven and earth smelt. Even though Lin Fei was plundering nonstop, the heaven and earth smelt was like a bottomless pit that would never be satisfied. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Lin Fei waited until the 4 great god kings arrived. When the 4 great god kings saw that Lin Fan was waiting for them, they were shocked. Could it be that he had discovered something? They signaled with their eyes and charged towards Lin Fan without any regard for the consequences. Just as I expected. Lin Fei saw the clues and didn't fight with them. He just left Maple World. They are not in a hurry and have been following behind me. It seems like they want to threaten me. Lin Fei's thoughts spread out. Could it be that they don't want me to go back? Suddenly, Lin Fei thought of a possibility. Apart from this reason, the alien race god kings wouldn't be so calm and allow him to continue plundering the alien race population. This wasn't something a god king should do. They should be itching to kill him. Lin Fei hurriedly contacted Lin Jiqing in Myth City. There was a communication tool in the system store. Lin Fei brought it with him, so no matter where he was, he could connect in the shortest time possible. The moment the communication was opened, Lin Fei saw a slightly panicked Lin Jiqing. Wife, did something happen in the continent? Lin Jiqing saw the human race alliance's defeat and she was anxious. Myth City activated all the formations and received Lin Fei's message. Hubby, come back quickly. Our side has been defeated. Lin Jiqing said hurriedly. Lin Fei frowned. He couldn't accept this outcome. How can we be defeated? That shouldn't be. Tell me the details. Lin Jiqing explained the situation and emphasized on the alien race god kings, Xian Men's betrayal, and the fall of the heaven immortals on their side. Xian Men are so bold. It must be Taoist gentleman who is causing trouble. Lin Fei didn't expect that in the few days that he had been out, the alien race god kings would attack. They even sent out dozens of god kings. The situation was completely one-sided. Lin Fei calmed himself down. The human race had been defeated. Even if he rushed back now, he might not be able to kill them all. Activate all the formations and put the entire Myth City under martial law. Use all the resources to support the formations. Then, inform the dragon race to guard the Myth City and hold on until I return. Lin Fei wished he could fly back in one breath. You have to be careful outside. The Myth City has formations. They won't be able to take down the Myth City in a short time. Lin Jiqing was relieved. I'll be careful. Hold on for a few days. I'll be back. After hanging up, Lin Fei slapped his forehead. I'm so stupid. If I knew that the Holy Mother was going to create powerful existences, why didn't I take it seriously? Lin Fei had found out from Heavenly Wing's God King that the Holy Mother was creating powerful existences. However, he didn't expect that the Holy Mother would create God Kings. She created more than 60 God Kings in one go, so much so that she suppressed the overall strength of the human race. The actions of the alien races were too fast. They were so fast that there was no time to stop them. In reality, even though Lin Fei knew that the Holy Mother was very powerful, he didn't expect that the Holy Mother's ability was even more terrifying than he imagined. In the blink of an eye, she had created such a huge force. City Lord, let's go back immediately. The Myth City has formations. We can definitely hold on until we return. The scarlet, refining heavenly demon was also shocked. The change in the situation was too great. He couldn't accept it in time. Go back. Lin Fei didn't plan to go to the next world. His woman and daughter were in the Myth City. He was very clear that the human race had been defeated. With the God King's temperament, they would definitely attack the Myth City. Seal, in the boundless void, a six-pointed star flashed, and a strange force locked the void in an instant. The warship collided with the invisible force and was sent flying on the spot. Lin Fei cried out in his heart, "Oh no!" He suddenly realized that the four great divine kings were chasing him because of this, luring him into a trap. At this moment, he understood everything. Flying out of the warship, Lin Fei activated the Tongtian God Pagoda and smashed it against the invisible force. He tried to open a gap. The Tongtian God Pagoda went down. On the invisible force, a strange light flashed. It was like an invisible wall that blocked all the attacks. The power of the wall was boundless. How is this possible? Lin Fei was shocked. He activated the Tongtian God Pagoda. Just a mere force was easy to deal with. I don't believe it. The divine sword and the Tongtian God Pagoda attacked together. They attacked this mysterious force. The powerful force seemed to want to tear the entire starry sky apart. It still doesn't work. Lin Fei attacked with all his strength, but he still couldn't break this force. City Lord, we have encountered a big problem. Suddenly, the scarlet refining heavenly demon flew out with a sunken face. If I didn't guess wrong, this should be the starry sky teleportation formation. It is an absolute formation from the upper realm. This young master thought that no one in this world knows this formation. It turns out that someone knows it. In the void, the astral wind whistled. The sword god prince crossed the void and stood outside the formation. He couldn't hide the pride on his face. It's you. Lin Fei knew that not being able to kill the sword god prince last time would bring trouble. He didn't expect this premonition to come true so soon. Isn't it strange? The sword god prince said indifferently. In order to set up this starry sky teleportation formation, I spent more than half of my wealth. You should be satisfied. I'm afraid you still don't know the power of this formation. You might as well let your subordinate tell you. Rise! The hexagram rotated. A divine tower appeared in the void, enveloping Lin Fei and the others. Blue light flashed. The aura of the starry sky was vast and boundless. Lin Fei suddenly felt that he had fallen into the vast starry sky. He was lost in that distant place. What a strange feeling. City Lord, the sword god Prince wants to banish us to the starry sky. We will never be able to return to the Xiantian continent. The scarlet, refining heavenly demon's face was solemn. He even wants to banish us to the endless danger lands. The sword god Prince smiled. That's right. In this young master's opinion, killing you is really meaningless. It's better to banish you to the endless danger lands. As long as you go in, you won't be able to come out. Sinister. This was definitely a sinister action. This formation is too mysterious. Am I really going to be banished? Lin Fei's heart sank. This formation had already surpassed the level of this world. He couldn't break it at all. Lin Fei knew about the starry sky danger lands. Once he was teleported to that place, he would really be trapped inside. The sword god prince's plan was really sinister. That kind of danger land blinded the heavenly Tao and sealed everything. Even if Lin Fei wanted to ascend, he would be completely isolated and unable to ascend to the upper realm. Sinister and sinister action. You are really sinister. Lin Fei activated his Yuan Qi. Barely. We are about the same. The sword god Prince smiled proudly. Heaven's splitting finger. Lin Fei circulated his essence energy and used his essence energy skill in an attempt to break the array formation. This time, Lin Fei was still disappointed. That boundless power attacked again and blocked this attack. Ha ha ha, Alliance Master Lin, are you very disappointed? I forgot to tell you. This starry sky teleportation uses the power of the starry sky. Do you think your attack can go against the starry sky? The sword god Prince laughed sinisterly. Back then, I suffered from your mysterious power and was long prepared against you. At this moment, the 4 great divine kings flew up. Devil Lin, to think you would have such a day. Crimson Light God King seemed to have let out a sigh of relief. We didn't waste our time chasing you. We can finally banish you. Giant Eye God King had a deep hatred for Devil Lin. Goodbye, Devil Lin. Chapter 715. The hatred he had for Lin Fei was like a torrential river that flowed endlessly. At this very moment, he could finally banish the other party to the depths of the starry sky, never to return for the rest of his life. In the end, he would die in the depths of the starry sky. The sword god young master felt that his thoughts were clear. In that battle on the Dragon Island, the sword god prince was thoroughly defeated. Not only did he lose 2 of his treasures, he was also knocked down from his pedestal. After that, he became the target of scorn on the continent. This was a shadow that the sword god young master could never erase from his life. He constantly reminded himself to take revenge. He had to take revenge. Killing a person was satisfying, but it was far less satisfying than banishing the other party to the depths of the starry sky. Even if he couldn't kill Lin Fei, the price he had to pay was the sword god young master. He was most willing to see her. With a flash of light, the starry sky teleportation was activated. Everything within the divine tower was instantly teleported out. As for where they would be teleported to, nobody knew. However, one thing would not change, and that was that Lin Fei would definitely enter the depths of the starry sky. He would enter a desperate situation, a truly desperate situation. He would experience what it meant to be called the heavens. If the heavens did not respond, then the earth did not respond. Young Master Sword God, it's all thanks to you this time. Otherwise, as long as Devil Lin isn't eliminated, our foreign races will have a headache. Crimson Light God King said to young Master Sword God, we are working together. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. If it wasn't for all of you changing his route, Demon Lin, who has always been careful, wouldn't have fallen for it. Sword God Young Master said calmly, Young Master Sword God is right. Devil Lin has already been removed. Even if it's us divine kings, we will also fall in the dangerous land in the depths of the starry sky. If Devil Lin goes there, it'll be hard for him not to die. Crimson Light God King continued, our mission is completed. It's time for us to return and explain. They had always been worried that Demon Lin would see through them and cause all their efforts to go to waste. Only when they saw Demon Lin being exiled to the depths of the starry sky with their own eyes did they truly heave a sigh of relief. It was impossible for a miracle to happen with the starry sky teleportation. The number 1 enemy of the non-human kind, the supreme leader of the human alliance, was banished to the depths of the starry sky just like that. Once the news spread, the morale of the human race would be affected, and it would be the perfect time to conquer the continent. With the leadership of Divine King Hao Tian, it has always been easy for you guys to conquer the continent. The revival of the Holy Mother is imminent. Sword God, young Master smiled. Let's go back to the continent. With Demon Lin gone, the 4 godly kings felt like a huge rock had been lifted off their chests. They could almost see the shocked faces of the humans. They could finally hold their heads high. Everyone, it wasn't easy for us to get here. Why are you in such a hurry to go back? Don't you think it's too rude? At this moment, a voice that they could not be more familiar with came from the void. Demon Lin. The 4 god kings, including the sword god young master, were in shock. They suspected that they had heard wrongly. Why was Demon Lin's voice still here? Was there a mistake? You must have heard wrongly. Devil Lin has already been teleported out. It's impossible for him to be here. Crimson, light God King shook his head, and the smile on his face froze. What replaced it was darkness. We must have heard wrongly. There's no way Demon Lin has the ability to predict the future. The Mermaid God King said seriously. We saw him being teleported away with our own eyes. Demon Lin, if you want to use such tricks to scare us, come out if you have the ability. Transformation God King said. He released his consciousness to search for suspicious existences. Sword God Young Master had suffered a blow. This time, to deal with Lin Fei, he spent most of his fortune to execute the supreme formation of the upper world to banish him to the depths of the starry sky. Lin Fei couldn't still be here. I thought that you God Kings had a strong ability to accept things. It seems like you are all the same. You can't take a shock. The mocking voice rang out once more. Scram out. Giant Eye God King opened his god eye, and the light of destruction shot into the void. He roared angrily. Is he trying to mislead us? Sword God Young Master frowned. His joy of victory was instantly shattered by Lin Fei's voice. Giant Eye God King, don't be angry. Don't you know that anger is bad for your body? From another direction, Lin Fei's voice rang out once more. Xiao, xiao, xiao. Giant Eye God King had suffered too many losses in the hands of Demon Lin. At this moment, Demon Lin's words opened up his scars, and he was furious. Boom, boom, boom. Under the divine light of destruction, all the suspicious places exploded and gave rise to an aura of destruction. Not good. Leave quickly. Suddenly, Sword God Young Master frowned. He took out a small boat and flew outside. Too late. Before the 4 great God Kings could come back to their senses, a country of flames suddenly appeared in the void. There were majestic mountains and flaming plains that were vivid and lifelike. Clang, Sword God Young Master, who had the fastest reaction, tried to rush out of this country, but he was still a step too late. Scorching flames and merciless fire waves swept over. The small boat that was made of special materials was actually damaged. Sword God, welcome to my country. In the sky above the country, Lin Fei stood on a red high platform and appeared alive in front of them. You, why weren't you teleported away? Crimson Light God King tried his best to calm himself down. I was indeed teleported away, Lin Fei said with a smile. However, my true body is still here. Impossible. We are very clear about the true body and clone. It was clearly not a clone that was teleported away. Mermaid God King shook his head and didn't believe it. I don't care if you guys believe it or not. It was my clone anyway. Lin Fei looked at the 4 great God Kings. Speaking of which, I have to thank you guys. If it wasn't for you guys following behind me, I would have almost fallen for it. How did you discover that we were going to deal with you? Giant Eye God King's face was black. Wrong. It wasn't that I discovered you guys. It was your actions that made me suspicious. I still remember that in one of the worlds you guys were clearly having fun and not killing people out of anger. From that moment onwards, I started to suspect you guys. Lin Fei also felt lucky. If Scarlet, Refining, Heavenly Devil had warned him, he would have been severely injured this time. The 4 great God Kings stared with their eyes wide open. They couldn't believe that they were the ones who had revealed a flaw that was discovered by Devil Lin. In the end, they were the ones who fell into Devil Lin's country of flames. It was no different from being slapped on the face and still having to stretch out the other side. Devil Lin, you are indeed the nemesis of us foreign races. You can even see through such a flaw. Crimson Light God King's face was dark. However, it doesn't matter. Since we can't banish you to the forbidden lands of the starry sky, the 5 of us can still kill you. They were clearer than anyone about Devil Lin's country of flames. Unless they killed the other party, it would be extremely difficult to break it by force. Sword God, count yourself lucky that you managed to escape last time. Accept your fate this time. Lin Fei stared at Sword God Young Master. The speed of your small boat is fast. You have nowhere to run in the heaven and earth smelt. Chapter 716. Sword Control Technique. After losing the divine sword, another immortal sword unsheathed behind the young master sword god. Multicolored light filled the sky. Even though it was not as powerful as the previous divine sword, it was still a supreme-grade immortal artifact. With a flash of red light, the entire world was dyed in the color of blood as the immortal sword blasted towards Lin Fei. Since he couldn't banish Lin Fei, the young master had the thought of killing Lin Fei and snatching the two treasures back. Sword God, let me tell you, the one who has the last laugh is not you, but me. Lin Fei's body trembled. Demonic qi soared into the sky, covering the blood-red sky. At this moment, he unleashed his strongest celestial demon body and transformed into a giant. Dang, 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 the top-grade immortal weapon stabbed the god-fiend body. Every sword that could heavily injure a heaven immortal was like stabbing a hard boulder, unable to hurt him at all. Your sword control technique is only SOSO. Lin Fei struck out with his palm and hit the top-grade immortal sword, sending it flying. The young master was shocked. The sword control technique just now was several times more powerful than the last time, but he didn't expect Lin Fei to block it. It seemed very easy, which was beyond his expectations. Impossible. Even the body of an immortal won't be able to block my sword control technique. The young master's strongest skill was the sword control technique. After losing the divine sword, its power was still top-notch. He had always been proud of it. Now he was disrespectful again. Last time, Lin Fei was surrounded by danger. How could he block it this time? Ha ha ha, others can't, but it doesn't mean I can't. Lin Fei said casually, I don't believe that you can withstand my imperial sword technique forever. Another wave of colorful swords flew out from behind the young master. A total of 49 swords flew out. All of them were top-grade immortal swords, forming a sword formation. Kill! The 10,000-mile-long sword arrived with a loud rumble. The sword river was vast and mighty, instantly enveloping Lin Fei within it. The sword was like a storm, constantly strangling him. When the four god kings saw this scene, they could not help but inhale a breath of cold air. This young master, the sword god, was much stronger than they had imagined. His moves were so ferocious, and it was said that before this, he even had a divine sword in his hand. His battle prowess was unparalleled. Demon Lin should be about to take out his treasure. This river of swords contains the boundless killing intent of the divine swordsman. Even the body of an immortal might not be able to withstand it. The astral winds in the void were torn apart. Within the vast river of swords, sword insight interweaved together, and anyone that was within it would surely be unable to escape death. The sword was a supreme weapon. 49 immortal swords, in addition to a supreme-grade immortal sword, took the lead. In the hands of young master sword god, this sword kinesis flight technique displayed supreme sword might. This feels so good, so good. It feels so much better than refining it myself. Lin Fei, who was in the river of swords, shouted in his heart. The supreme sword will crushed over and transformed into a supreme attack. A large number of foreign races were refined one after another, and it was even faster than Lin Fei refining them himself. If this continues, I will be able to finish refining all the foreign races very soon. Lin Fei thought. In the big and small worlds, the foreign races that Lin Fei had plundered had been unable to be refined. Their numbers were too large, and now, with the help of Sword God's attack, there was finally a change. Bam, 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 wounds cracked open on Lin Fei's body, and fresh blood flowed out. Young Master, Sword God's heart relaxed. He was really worried that this body could block the attack of the sword kinesis flight technique, but now it seemed that it was nothing much. He actually didn't use the divine sword and heaven-reaching god tower. Crimson Light God King, you guys go too. Such a good chance. Don't let Lin Fei make a comeback. Young Master Sword God saw that his opponent's corporeal body was starting to be injured, so he naturally wanted to kill him here. How could he give Lin Fei the chance to breathe? Attack! The four great god kings didn't want to care about what Demon Lin wanted to do. They just wanted to use this chance to kill him first. Crimson Light Divine Fist. Crimson Light God King summoned a great emperor that looked down on the world. His fist skills were divine, and the shadows of his fists overlapped. Giant Eye God King wasn't afraid of exhaustion. He activated the Destruction God Light and swore to shoot Demon Lin to death in this void. The Black Destruction God Light exploded continuously on the Sword River. Mermaid God King returned to his original body, an ugly fish that was thousands of yards long. He spat out green divine light, and this was the unique divine art of Mermaid God King. The Corrosion God Light would definitely kill anyone who came into contact with it. Even the primordial spirit would be corroded. No one could block it, and countless immortals had been killed by it back then. He had suffered under the hands of Demon Lin previously, and he couldn't forget this grudge. Transformation God King split into black shadows that entered the Sword River and started a close combat attack. As it turned out, Transformation God King could transform into a myriad of forms. Lin Fei, who was in the center of the storm, was getting stronger and stronger. His god devil body collapsed when facing the strong attacks. He recovered once more, and Lin Fei's expression was much uglier than before. Everyone knew that Demon Lin wouldn't be able to last much longer. Could the five of them really not be able to deal with Demon Lin? Could it be that he still had heaven-defying abilities that could block the five of them? After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Sword God Young Master had a bad feeling. Lin Fei, who was in the Sword River, looked like he couldn't hold on any longer. They could win at any time, but Lin Fei just held on like that. Just now, Sword God Young Master was bent on killing Lin Fei. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, he started to calm down. Facing such an attack, no one would be able to survive. Even if Lin Fei's divine arts were unparalleled, he still wouldn't be able to escape. Other than that, Lin Fei still didn't take out his divine sword or heavenly reaching divine tower. There was something strange about this. Stop, we have been tricked. Sword God Young Master planned to remove the sword formation. The uneasiness in his heart grew heavier and heavier, as if there was a layer of dark clouds covering his head. Sword God, your celestial sword is not bad, I want it. Lin Fei, who was in the Sword River, opened his eyes and gave off a powerful aura. The wounds on his body instantly healed. He grabbed forward with his left hand, and a huge black hand tried to control all the celestial swords. Don't even think about it. The 50 celestial swords gathered together and roared nonstop. They stabbed forward and tried to break this sky-covering hand. Devil God hand is here, come to my hand. The sky-covering hand made a fishing action. The celestial swords with shocking attacks were hugged together and truly landed in the huge hand. Lin Fei's body shook and the celestial power around him rippled. His powerful aura transformed into a hurricane that sliced through everything. Everyone's attacks were instantly disintegrated. At this moment, Lin Fei was truly like a heavenly god. He was impervious to all techniques and looked down on the world. How can your aura be so strong? Even Crimson, Light, God King, Great Emperor was suppressed. That hurricane condensed from his aura actually shattered him. Crimson, Light, Great Emperor was also shocked by this powerful aura. In his eyes, that Demon Lin was like a boundless mountain that he could only raise his head to look at, a height that he couldn't cross. I know, you are using us again. Giant Eye God King jumped up and recalled the scene in Myth City. Didn't they do the same? In the end, they helped Demon Lin and returned in defeat, almost dying outside the city. How is that possible? Last time, their God Kings were used to help Lin Fei, allowing him to advance to half-step heaven immortal and have the strength to fight them one-on-one. They would never forget it in their entire lives. But just now they helped Lin Fei. They wouldn't believe it, even if they were beaten to death. Giant Eye God King is right. You have indeed helped me. Lin Fei said, as a repayment, I will use my strongest attack to welcome you. Whoosh! The divine sword appeared and landed in Lin Fei's hand. Sword God, haven't you always wanted me to use my divine sword? In that case, take my sword. Lin Fei's gaze turned cold. The divine sword slashed out, turning into a stream of light that shot towards Sword God Young Master. It was a very ordinary move that was accompanied by the sound of wind and thunder. But from this sword, everyone felt a strong and dangerous aura. Their scalps turned numb. Sword control technique, one with the sword. Sword God Young Master also felt a supreme sense of danger. This sword was too strong, and it was filled with Lin Fei's will. If he was not careful, he might die here today. He didn't believe that Lin Fei's strength could reach such a level. No matter what, he had to go all out, otherwise he wouldn't be satisfied. Ka 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 ka! The divine sword's waist shook and a golden dragon smashed into Sword God Young Master's body. The 4 God Kings saw Sword God Young Master's corporeal body explode inch by inch. A terrifying aura exploded from his body. Demon Lin's sword tore open the body of a heaven immortal. It heavily injured Sword God Young Master. I didn't expect you to be so strong. In the entire Xiantian continent, there probably isn't a second person like you. I admit my defeat. However, when you go to the heaven realm, you will know the consequences of killing me. This is just the beginning. Ha 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 ha! Sword God's body in the void exploded, turning into fragments that filled the sky. Under the flames, he was instantly burned into nothingness. Lin Fei activated the divine sword and used his immense strength to destroy all of Sword God Young Master's vitality. Rumble! The moment Sword God died, the treasures also exploded and fell into the endless void. One of the statues with a vast and distant aura locked onto Lin Fei's body. Boom! At the end of the void, a supreme power descended. It was an aura that made everyone tremble. It was a finger that reached the sky, and it was coming to kill Lin Fei. Damn, the guy behind me has made his move. Lin Fei wasn't happy. The power of the higher realms had arrived and wanted to kill him completely. What was the background of this sword god for the higher realms to make a move? The terrifying power suppressed Lin Fei to the point that he couldn't move. It was a power that he couldn't resist at all. Boom! This finger that reached the sky could dominate the world. It could already be described as an adjective. The violent power spread in all directions. The 4 great god kings were blown away on the spot and coughed out blood continuously. As for the Flame Kingdom, it was also torn apart. This supreme power came quickly and disappeared just as quickly as it came. It was as though it had never appeared. Is this the attack of the higher realms? Crimson Light God King's face was pale. He flew out from a planet and stopped in the sky. He felt his heart palpitate from the scene just now. Too terrifying. Just the aftershock alone heavily injured us and almost killed us. It's even more terrifying than the decree last time. Giant Eye God King's body exploded, and he was very weak. Chapter 717. The 4 godly kings still had lingering fears. The last time they were attacked by the law decree, it was hard for them to forget. Today they were almost killed by the attack of a supreme being. If the opponent was just a little stronger, they might have really died. They did not dare to think about it. Do you think Demon Lin can survive? The Giant Eyes Godly King asked a question that he should not have asked. The 4 godly kings had almost died from the aftermath of the Supreme Being's attack, not to mention Demon Lin. He's dead for sure. There's no justice in this world if he doesn't die. Even the heavens want to kill Demon Lin. If Demon Lin doesn't die, I'm afraid we'll have to hide every time we see him in the future. The Supreme Being's power had crossed the realm and attacked with less than 1/10,000th of the original body's strength. It should be more than enough to kill a mere human. Otherwise, it would not be the power of the upper realm. Previously, they were happy for nothing, thinking that Demon Lin had been exiled to the depths of the starry skies. This time, with the Supreme Being's attack, Demon Lin should be completely dead. Let's go and take a look. Although they thought that Demon Lin was dead, they subconsciously wanted to see the corpse before they were satisfied. Otherwise, there would always be a shadow in their hearts. Demon Lin had performed miracles time and time again. Subconsciously, they were afraid that Demon Lin would perform another miracle. There's no need to look. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you again. In the sky above the planet, Lin Fei appeared in front of the 4 godly kings in a sorry state. His powerful, godly demon body was covered in wounds. It was a shocking sight. His face was abnormally pale. It was obvious how terrifying the Supreme Being's attack was. Damn it, why aren't you dead? The 4 godly kings and 3 corpses jumped. They could not believe that Demon Lin was still alive. That was a Supreme Being from the upper realm, a powerful force that could wipe out everything. If it were them, they would have died many times over. Now, Demon Lin appeared in front of them just like that, almost making them vomit blood. There was no justice in this world if he did not die. I told you, you're destined to be disappointed. Lin Fei coughed up blood. His injuries were serious. I'm sure you're not having a good time. Just treat it as my tonic. Kill him. He's been attacked by the upper realm's mighty figures. He doesn't have much strength left. He's like an arrow at the end of its flight. The Crimson Bright God King was the first to make a move. Even though his injuries weren't light, he firmly believed that Demon Lord Lin was heavily injured and it was impossible for him to create another miracle. Do you think you are a pushover when a major character from the higher realms makes a move? Sky-piercing divine pagoda, suppress everything. Lin Fei brought out the heavenly connecting divine pagoda. The 10,000 li-tall mountains smashed onto their bodies with a rumble. The 4 great divine kings were smashed onto the planet, causing a crater of 1,000,000 li. On the uninhabited planet, the mountains and earth were razed to the ground in an instant. I forgot to tell you guys, even if I'm heavily injured, you 4 great divine kings can forget about killing me. Lin Fei flew down from the sky, coughing out blood. He unsheathed his divine sword, and with the most ordinary sword strike, he slashed towards the 4 great divine kings. Jin Guang was like thunder. He exploded with a rumble. The 4 great divine kings' injuries were not light, and they were affected by the power of the higher realms. How could they resist Lin Fei's all-out attack? Pung, 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 the bodies of the 4 great divine kings exploded, their injuries worsening. Heaven and earth furnace come in. After the divine sword had heavily injured them, Lin Fei brought out the heaven and earth furnace. The 4 great divine kings, who were heavily injured, had no ability to resist and were sucked into the heaven and earth furnace. Pu Lin Fei fell from the starry sky, smashing into the starry sky and coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. The higher realms experts are too strong. I was almost done for. After struggling to open his eyes, Lin Fei was still recalling the scene when the higher realms experts attacked. That was a sword intent, a power that crossed over. If he had not cultivated the god-demon body and had treasures to protect him, he would have definitely died under that finger. Fortunately, only one of that supreme sword intent could descend. If another one were to descend, he might really be in trouble. Lin Fei bought some healing pills from the system store and swallowed them in large mouthfuls, trying to recover from his injuries. After a few hours, Lin Fei's injuries recovered slightly. He activated the heaven and earth furnace and started to refine the 4 great divine kings. His injuries healed continuously, and his strength rose sharply once again. A day later, Lin Fei opened his eyes once again. A bright light flashed in his eyes as he cut open the void, causing astral winds to sweep across. This was the extent of his strength reaching the limit. Lin Fei stood up once again. A boundless aura was released from his body, like an ancient well with no end in sight. Immortal Lord, right? When I go up there in the future, I will definitely annihilate your sect. Lin Fei's eyes flashed with a cold light as he looked at the endless void, as if he wanted to see the end of the starry sky, that supreme place. He was almost killed. How could Lin Fei not be angry? This was equivalent to an adult bullying a child. If not for the fact that Lin Fei had his own treasures, it would have been difficult for him to survive. Right now, my strength has increased greatly, and with the help of the unparalleled Almighty, I should have the strength of 10 immortals. The strength of 10 immortals. Lin Fei's strength was already extremely terrifying. That was why he could suppress the 4 great divine kings and refine them. Now it's time to end everything. If you guys dare to touch my wife and daughter, I will definitely consign you to eternal damnation. Lin Fei's face was filled with endless killing intent. At this moment, he had a stomach full of anger that he had nowhere to vent. Mysterious, heavenly mainland. With the appearance of the immortal kings of the foreign races, the situation was one-sided. The northern battlefront was torn apart rapidly. Coupled with the internal rebellion, the collapse was even faster. The human race alliance suffered heavy losses. The immortal kings of the foreign races led the army and swept over. 67 immortal kings worked together to form a formation. Their combat strength soared and suppressed the human race. Everywhere they passed, there was no sect that could withstand the attack of the foreign races. The human race was in despair. The mysterious heavenly mainland was going to fall into the hands of the foreign races. The army, led by the foreign races' immortal kings, tore through the northern battlefront like a hot knife through butter. No one could stop them. The half-step immortal kings were killed, and a few immortals fell. The mysterious heavenly mainland seemed to have fallen into a dark day. Myth City is just ahead, the nest of the Supreme Alliance's leader. It doesn't look like much. Millions of miles away from Myth City, a black army swept over like the prelude to a storm. Fellow immortal kings, don't underestimate Demon Lin. Since his rise, we have been harassed by him. Today, we must seize the opportunity when he is not around to take down his nest and force the immortal king behind him to show himself. The Water Demon King said to the other immortal kings. He was a veteran immortal king, one of the 10 great divine kings. Naturally, he had the right to say so. In order to take down Myth City, a total of 15 immortal kings came. In addition to the veteran Water Demon King, there was also an army of millions. They were going to wipe out Myth City. Chapter 718. Myth City. On this continent, the most eye-catching city became the target of the alien race's army with a single order from the God King. The dark army swarmed towards Myth City like a swarm of locusts. It was as if they wanted to drown the alien race army in numbers. Boom, 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 pillars of fire and stone shot into the sky, hitting the alien race army. Countless alien race members died on the spot. They were soon trapped in the level 9 array outside. Mountains of blades and seas of fire swarmed over. The first wave turned countless alien race members into ashes. Even so, the alien race did not stop. They kept attacking the array, using their numbers to break it. One of the races even fused into the array, trying to destroy it. Humph, it's just a level 9 array. Let's see how long you can last. The Water Demon God King sneered. This time, he had to take down Myth City. He had not volunteered to come in vain. Myth City's Demon Lin was currently being hunted by the God King and could not return for the time being. As long as he took down Myth City, one of the human race's beliefs would immediately collapse. The human race's morale would be gone, and there would be no need to talk about fighting them. Arrange for the array breaking insects to break the array as soon as possible. Also, seal off the area within 1,000,000 miles. I will not allow anyone to escape from here. The Water Demon God King ordered again. He was very confident, as if he had the other party in his grasp. There were a total of 15 god kings. How could the water demon not be confident? Even if a pig was leading them, they could still take down Myth City. Whoosh, 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 one by one, the ugly outsiders exploded, turning into golden bugs that attached themselves to the spell formation. This was one of the outsiders that knew how to break formations. Their battle prowess wasn't high, but they could break formations. The level 9 array looked strong, but it could be broken over time. In addition, the alien race army was constantly attacking the array. If there were no accidents, it would not take long to break it. The Water Demon God King wanted to take down Myth City's defenses like clothes. He wanted to take them off piece by piece so that everyone in Myth City would live in fear. The alien race is really going all out this time. In order to deal with our Myth City, they arranged for 16 God Kings. In the City Lord's residence, a huge sky screen showed everything that was happening outside. The movement of 16 God Kings still shocked the Myth City. Before this, everyone heard that the foreign races only had 10 great divine kings. Now that so many divine kings appeared in one go, it indeed had a certain impact on the Myth City's morale. The City Lord is already on his way back. Everyone, don't worry. Just be prepared. As the first madam of the city, Lord's Mansion, Lin Jiqing took over the command. Like a Valkyrie, she comforted everyone. Don't worry, First Madam. We've already used our secret weapons according to your request. As long as they come up, we don't mind taking down a God King. Everyone get into position. The formation outside won't be able to hold on for too long, Lin Jiqing ordered. Also, pay attention to the bounty hunters. Kill anyone who dares to cause trouble at this time. At this moment, Lin Jiqing was as decisive as the Valkyrie in the past. I definitely won't let Myth City fall from my hands. Lin Jiqing told herself in her heart that whoever dared to make trouble at this time would be killed without mercy. She would not be soft-hearted anymore. Myth City. After Lin Fei became the Supreme Alliance leader, Myth City was expanded. It was divided into an inner city and an outer city. The previous Myth City was naturally the inner city. The outer city was built later and occupied a large area. The formation left behind by the City Lord is indeed very powerful. The foreign races die really quickly. Good kill. If the foreign races dare to attack, we'll kill them all. Kill those foreign races. Regardless of whether it was on the streets or on the roofs, there were martial artists rubbing their fists and palms. They couldn't wait to bathe in blood and kill, even though they knew that they were just a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. If they could kill a foreign race, it would be considered a contribution. In a short period of time, they had already treated themselves as a part of Myth City. They definitely wouldn't allow anyone to destroy this place. It was because of Myth City that they were able to settle down and increase their strength. They were able to take a step that they might not be able to take in their entire lives. They even obtained battle armors that they didn't dare to imagine, and everything that was helpful to their cultivation. It allowed them to stand up again and show off their abilities. It could be said that everyone had received a favor. All of this was given to them by the Myth City. They were proud of the Myth City. This was especially so after City, Lord Lin became the Alliance leader. As a member of the Myth City, no matter where they went, they would always be filled with envy and jealousy. This was something they had never experienced before. Today, as long as they were here, the foreign races could forget about taking down Myth City. They would use their blood to protect it. On the walls of the outer city, a middle-aged man led a group of people and stood on one of the city walls. He looked at the foreign races that were like locusts and constantly attacked the formation. His grip on the weapon in his hand tightened. Old Wang, are you afraid? The person called Old Wang had a token hanging on his chest. It shone with 4 stars. He was a 4-star bounty hunter. Isn't it just killing the foreign races? What's there to be afraid of? If it wasn't for City Lord Lin's favor, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to take the step to mystic venerable rank. The person called Old Wang said agitatedly, As long as I have a breath left in me, I will kill the foreign races. Leader, if there wasn't a bounty hunter guild, there wouldn't be me. Another young man said excitedly, in my family, my talents were poor. I never thought that I could become a king-level martial artist. If the foreign races dare to destroy Myth City, it means that they are destroying our home. In order to protect Myth City, what harm is there in sacrificing one's life? These martial artists with the bounty hunter guild's insignia were all bounty hunters of Myth City. If there wasn't a bounty hunter guild, they would probably still be wandering around the continent. They were very grateful for the appearance of the Bounty Hunter Guild. Without the Bounty Hunter Guild, they wouldn't be able to see any hope in the future. No matter who it was, they were all united and wanted to fight the foreign races to the end. It wasn't just for Myth City, it was also for them. 2 hours later, along with a loud rumbling sound, the Level 9 array formation was broken. In order to break the array, the foreign races suffered heavy losses. So what harm was there in taking down Myth City? The second Level 9 array formation appeared. Thick energy supported the Level 9 array formation and blocked in front of the foreign races. Attack! The foreign races started fighting again. At the same time, the foreign races' army continued to replenish their numbers. There seemed to be no end in sight. 1 day later, the foreign races used the human wave tactic to crush their way over and destroy the array formation one after another. Now, there was only one array formation left. The foreign races' god kings that came along agreed with the water demon god king's words. Myth City was really a tough bone to chew. They laid down array formation after array formation, and it seemed like they wouldn't stop until they tormented them to death. Even a Myth City was set up like this, let alone Demon Lin himself. No wonder the 10 great god kings were so resentful. He was really a headache. Other than the layers of array formations, the massive energy pillars made them go crazy. No wonder the Lord God King wanted to plunder Myth City. The resources were too rich. Lord, in less than an hour, we will be able to break the array formation. Water Demon God King couldn't help but sigh. This Demon Lin was really a good-for-nothing. Other big sects only had a few formations, but Myth City had set up so many. He finally understood why Heavenly Wings God King, Crimson Light God King, and the other two had killed their way to Myth City previously and returned with hatred. Demon Lin was AB** starred. He was a piece of SH**T. Speed up and break this array formation. The Water Demon God King couldn't wait anymore. He was prepared to charge into Myth City and personally kill Demon Lin's wife and daughter to vent the anger in his heart. Just as he said that, the Water Demon God King's expression suddenly changed. His face turned sinister and incomparably terrifying. Damn it! At that moment, the Water Demon God King sensed that the auras of the 4 God Kings had disappeared. As the 10 great God Kings, they were connected. But at that moment, he realized that the 4 auras had disappeared. The disappearance of their auras meant that the 4 God Kings had met with misfortune. Impossible. With the 4 God Kings attacking and young Master Sword God, no matter how powerful Demon Lin is, he can't kill the 4 God Kings. The Water Demon, God King, couldn't believe this outcome. From his point of view, Demon Lin had either been banished to the depths of the starry sky or surrounded and killed. Not long later, the Water Demon God King received a message from God King Hao Tian, proving that his senses weren't wrong. The 4 God Kings that had gone out to kill Demon Lin had already died. All the God Kings of the foreign races were shocked. The 4 old God Kings had died just like that. They couldn't believe that the 5 God Kings had all died in the hands of one person. Break the array, break the array. I want to wipe out Myth City. The Water Demon God King's face was sinister. Do it yourself. In such a short time, 5 God Kings had died consecutively. This was a huge blow to the foreign races. God King Hao Tian also gave the order to destroy Myth City. even though they didn't know who killed the 4 great divine kings for the time being. In their hearts, there was an 80 to 90% certainty that it was definitely Demon Lin who did it. What happened? On the city wall, everyone was shocked when they saw the God Kings take action. They didn't expect that the God Kings of the foreign races would take action personally. Big Madam is here. At that moment, everyone saw Big Madam Lin Jiqing walk up the city wall, surrounded by people. Little Purple, get them ready. Once the array is broken, the secret weapon will be aimed at the God Kings. Lin Jiqing frowned. The God Kings of the foreign races had taken action ahead of time. This was beyond her expectations. Could something have happened? Little Purple, who was beside her, was that demon immortal. When Lin Fei wasn't around, he was her bodyguard. At the same time, he oversaw Myth City. Chapter 719. P.S. Thank you, He Jingxiong, for the tip. The death of the 4 God Kings infuriated the alien race God Kings. They personally attacked, and their destructive power increased. The Level 9 array formation, which had been struggling to defend, was on the verge of collapse. Light flowed rapidly, and it could be broken at any moment. The alien race God Kings attacked together, and their methods were amazing. The people in Myth City felt as though mountains had appeared above their heads and were crushing down on them. Break the city. When the last attack landed above the array formation, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. The light in the sky above the Level 9 array formation was gone. Ripples spread out like water and covered the entire array formation. Crack, 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 crack. At this moment, the Level 9 array formation finally couldn't hold on anymore. More than 10 alien race God Kings attacked, and their attacks were beyond their limits. Kill, destroy the city. The water demon, God King, laughed sinisterly. If you don't kill our God Kings, we will attack your Myth City. The alien race army charged down like locusts. That woman on the city wall must be Demon Lin's woman. I will take her down first. A God King laughed loudly and charged down from the sky. He opened his hand and wanted to grab the woman. Die, alien race God King. On the city wall, facing the incoming God Kings, a blood-colored cannon appeared in front of Lin Jiqing. The black muzzle seemed to carry a dangerous aura. Boom! A red beam shot out from the cannon. The terrifying aura shocked everyone. The world seemed to stop at this moment. The red beam hit the God King and blew him up on the spot. He turned into blood that floated down from the sky. Boom, boom, boom! The God Kings were all dumbfounded. A cannon killed one of their God Kings? Was this a joke? Before they could react, red beams shot out from the city wall and hit the alien race army one by one. Myth City launched its first counterattack. In the sky, a huge hole was torn open in the black mass of alien race army. Blood turned into rain and floated down, landing on the ground. God knew how many cannons were shot out and how many alien race soldiers were killed. Ha ha ha! Another God King has fallen. Myth City is mighty. Kill these alien race soldiers. On the city wall, everyone cheered when they saw a God King fall. A high and mighty God King could be shot down and killed with one cannon shot. This was already shocking enough. Boom, boom, boom. The red beams of light formed an inescapable net, sweeping out and tearing apart a large portion of the outsiders' army. The outside of the city was already covered in blood. One could see how many outsiders had died. Retreat, retreat, retreat! The water demon deity king's eyes were bloodshot. He had suffered a crushing defeat in his first attack against the outsiders and had no choice but to retreat. He only stopped after retreating 5 million miles away. Damn Myth City, we lost a total of 6 divine kings. A divine king said furiously. All the God Kings had ugly expressions on their faces. They simply couldn't believe it. In just a short period of time, 6 of their race's God Kings had fallen. Even if word got out, no one would believe it. The first godly monarch was killed by the cannon, catching them off guard. From their point of view, after losing the protection of the level 9 array formation. The myth city was like a naked woman in front of their godly monarchs. They could do whatever they wanted. Was there a need to worry? God, 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 King. God, King, God, King. King, God, God, they, God, God, King, and... It wasn't easy for the Holy Mother to breed God Kings, but 6 of them had died one after another. What kind of concept was this? The one who felt the most depressed was the water demon, Godly King. He had personally led the team here. Just to break the formation, they had lost a large number of foreign races. When they broke the level 9 formation, they were prepared to make a huge contribution. But in the blink of an eye, their side had lost 6 godly kings. Their hearts were bleeding. Even if they took down the myth city, they wouldn't feel any pride. Who can tell me what's in that stinky woman's hand? The water demon god king roared. A huge mountain behind him exploded, sending rocks flying everywhere. At this moment, his mind was still blank. When did such a sharp weapon appear on the continent that could kill a god king with a single blow? All the god kings lowered their heads, unable to say a single word. How would they know if they were asked? The Holy Mother had created them for the sake of conquering cities and territories. Now, before they could do anything, 6 of their godly monarchs had been killed. They could not even raise their heads. Get ready, we're going to launch the second attack. Even though the water demon deity king was pained by the loss of a deity king, now that things had come to this, he had to take down the myth city no matter what. Otherwise, he would be too ashamed to go out and meet people. How's the consumption? On the city walls, everyone was cheering. A god king was a sky immortal. They had never seen anyone kill a god king or sky immortal with a huge cannon in their lives. First, Madame Lin Jiqing frowned slightly. She looked at the retreating foreign races with a worried expression. We've consumed 40% of our resources. Little Violet said, if they attack again, we will lose the support of our resources. Moreover, we only managed to kill 6 of their god kings by catching them off guard. I'm afraid it will be very difficult for us to kill them the next time they attack. As a demon immortal, Little Violet knew how strong a sky immortal was. Similarly, she had never imagined that a huge cannon could kill a god king or sky immortal. While it was inconceivable, she was even more grateful for her choice. It's a pity that the divine martial cannon consumes too many resources. Lin Jiqing was worried but also excited. A total of 6 god kings had died under her command. Even though it was somewhat dishonorable, no one would say anything. Hubby is right. This divine martial cannon can only be used as a deterrent. It might not work the second time. Back when Lin Fei took out the divine martial cannon, Lin Jiqing did not believe it. Who would have thought that it would kill 6 god kings just like that? Yeah. Little Purple also nodded. Even if it's an empire, I'm afraid the empire will be destroyed. Little Violet was in charge. She knew better than anyone the power of the divine martial cannon. It was like a trump card. Anyone hit by it would die without a doubt. On the city walls, the half-step sky immortals and itinerant immortals were also stunned by the result. With the appearance of the divine martial cannon, it seemed that from now on, god kings and sky immortals would no longer be high and mighty. The Mountain Gate array was powerful, but it was far from being as powerful as the divine martial cannon. Look at how much the god kings had to pay. The foreign races are gathering again. After the first attack, they were battered and exhausted. The second attack had begun. This time, the god kings seemed to be smarter. They no longer charged and allowed the foreign races to attack, attempting to use cannon fodder to tear apart their defense line. It's time to get serious. The divine martial cannon's killing power was shocking, but it consumed too much energy. It could only deter the god kings, preventing them from acting rashly. Roar! Suddenly, a huge black vortex formed in the sky above the myth city. Then, one giant dragon after another flew out of the vortex. At this moment, the dragon race had arrived. With a single movement of its body, the gigantic dragon tore apart countless foreign races or crushed them into powder. Chapter 720. Damn it! Demon Lin actually set up a large-scale teleportation formation and lured the dragon race over. Seeing the dragon race's giant dragon appear, the water demon god king was dealt a huge blow. Once the dragon race appeared, the gap between them would be shortened rapidly. This would affect the battle. The situation was bad. If it was any other time, they might not care too much about it. However, the losses just now were too heavy. 6 god kings had died and the impact was huge. In addition to the pitch-black cannons, it was really too dangerous. The moment they were distracted, it would be very bad for them. The giant dragon had come at the wrong time. The blood cannon's attack speed was too fast. Once it attacked, they didn't think they could block it. It was like having a huge blade above their heads. They didn't know when it would slash down, and they would be one of the unlucky ones. The alien race god kings had misgivings and didn't dare to act rashly. Previously, they wanted the alien race army to exhaust Myth City's strength and take down the blood cannon so they could remove this bomb. But now that the dragon race had appeared, it was even more difficult. If they had attacked with all their strength, they wouldn't have missed such a good opportunity. But they didn't dare to take the risk. The 6 god kings had died, as an example. They felt a chill in their hearts. Retreat! The water demon god king gave the order bitterly. He could only swallow this bitter pill. At this moment, he regretted not attacking. If he had attacked and destroyed the blood cannon, he wouldn't have been so afraid now. For now, the water demon god king could only retreat. With just 10 god kings, taking down Myth City wasn't easy. They also had to be careful of the blood cannon at all times. If they were distracted, their combat strength would be affected. We can only support them. On the city wall, the retreat of the alien race surprised Longbatian. Why are there only 10 god kings left? Didn't they say that there were 16? Longbatian had obviously heard that the alien race had sent god kings to attack Myth City. He didn't believe that the god kings would leave midway. There were indeed fewer god kings now. No, there's the aura of fallen god kings. Longbatian's eyes widened as he looked at Lin Jiqing in shock. You killed 6 god kings. Dragon race leader, you have good eyes. You even saw through this. Lin Jiqing heaved a sigh of relief. With the dragon race's help, the pressure was reduced. How is that possible? Longbatian was very surprised. There were only 2 heavenly immortals in Myth City. Moreover, both of them were Yao beasts. How could they possibly kill off 6 divine kings? That was simply too unrealistic. Even their dragon race would need to spend a very long time and effort in order to kill off 6 divine kings. Dragon tribe leader, please look at this. Lin Jiqing generously displayed the Xinwu cannon. You're saying that the cannon was used to kill the god king? Longbatian was shocked. Using a cannon to kill the god king? He suddenly frowned as he sensed a terrifying aura from within. What a terrifying aura! Is this a cannon powered by resources? That's right. We relied on this to catch a god king off guard. Lin Jiqing didn't want to hide the fact that the divine martial cannon had been revealed. She might as well say it openly. Sooner or later, everyone would know about it. Longbatian was shocked. Even though they thought highly of Lin Fei, they didn't expect him to have such a heaven-defying weapon. He could imagine that the God King would definitely be caught off guard by these cannons. This Xinwu cannon could only be used as a deterrent. Even if it worked the first time, it might not work the second time. No wonder the foreign races' God Kings didn't attack. They were scared off by the Xinwu cannon. Longbatian finally understood. This is a good name. It killed 6 God Kings in one go. The name of the Xinwu cannon will spread throughout the continent. If you guys didn't come, there would have been a bloody battle. Lin Jiqing was very grateful. The foreign race's army swept through the various sections. Our dragon race has the marine race to block them. They won't be able to attack for a short period of time. However, there are still some small problems. Longbatian said, with our dragon race here, the foreign races god kings won't dare to attack for a short period of time. Moreover, with such a heaven-defying weapon like yours, you have unknowingly frightened them. On the other side, God King Haotian was leading an army to attack a sect. He was nearing the end and was about to take it down. What? We lost another 6 god kings? A piece of bad news spread over. God King Haotian twitched and was about to spit out blood. In a short period of time, god kings died one after another. He couldn't even vent his anger anymore. Originally, God King Haotian would be in a good mood after taking down a sect. But when he heard this news, it was like a bucket of cold water was poured on his head. After hearing the entire story, God King Haotian cursed Lin Fan to his ancestors. He was practically their nemesis. Therefore, he was even more vicious in his attacks, killing 6 of their god kings in one go. Did he really think that the god kings of the foreign races were like cabbages that could be found anywhere and could be killed as he pleased? Such a thing not only made God King Haotian even angrier, but at the same time he wanted to take down Myth City. If he didn't, who knew what would happen? More importantly, he was worried that once Lin Fan returned, such cannons would appear and affect them even more. He had to be careful. Take down the sect quickly. God King Haotian couldn't wait to charge over. He couldn't stay here any longer. From his point of view, the Myth City was the #1 enemy. If the might of the heaven-defying cannons were to spread out, the major sects would have to hold back for fear of harming the innocent. If the sects set up these cannons, they would definitely be a threat and wouldn't dare to be as unbridled as they were now. Under the command of Godly King Haotian, the work that originally required a few hours was completed in 2 hours. He left behind a godly king and led the rest of the godly kings towards the Myth City with surging, killing intent. After Water Demon God King retracted his troops, he didn't send out any more. The appearance of the dragon race and the presence of the god martial cannon made him wary. If he was held back and used the god martial cannon, they might lose a few god kings. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it at all. Even if he lost face, Water Demon God King still sent out a distress signal and waited for the army to arrive. In the evening, God King Haotian brought people over. His face was really dark, and everyone could sense a suppressed aura. They didn't dare to say a single word. "You have disappointed me," God King Haotian said disappointedly. Godly King Haotian said in disappointment. In order to take down the Myth City, he specially transferred 15 godly kings over, hoping that it would be easy to successfully take down the Myth City. But in the end, you came and went, and 6 godly kings were killed. What face do you have to come and see me? Water Demon God King lowered his head. He no longer had the high spirits from before. Under Myth City's attack, he was mostly gone. I underestimated Myth City. Water Demon God King lowered his head. I will take responsibility for this. Now that things have come to this, it's useless to say anything else. God King Haotian was very angry. Things had come to this. What else could he do? I brought 5 god kings. This is my limit. Otherwise, it will affect the next attack. Myth City's thing that worries us the most is their god martial cannon. Water Demon God King's eyes were filled with killing intent. According to my calculations, they can only use the cannon once. Myth City doesn't have that many resources to use. After retreating, the Water Demon God King continued to research, and he finally managed to figure out something. They don't dare to use the God Martial Cannon. We will force them to use it. God King Haotian looked at Myth City. Pass my order. Let the self-destructing bats go up. Water Demon God King slapped his head. He had indeed been frightened. Myth City only had so many people. If they used up all of them, they had to use the God Martial Cannon. The God Kings are going to attack. On the city wall, the people didn't relax. The god kings of the alien races wouldn't take this lying down. Swish, swish, swish. Black shadows filled the sky. They were 2 to 3 meters in size. Before they even got close to the city wall, they exploded, creating a storm that sent the martial artists on the city wall flying. Be careful. These are the bats of the alien races. They are good at self-destruction. Someone recognized them immediately. Kill. The martial artists on the city wall weren't stupid. They took out their immortal artifacts and killed these self-destructing bats. Even so, the martial artists were still heavily injured. The bats covered the sky and the ground. There were so many of them that no one knew how many there were. They are going to use up all of our people. Lin Jiqing hit the nail on the head and saw through the king of gods conspiracy. Myth City had a limited population. Once all the martial artists died, it would be an empty city. Races like the alien races were numerous. They didn't have to worry about their numbers being used up. Their god kings don't want to fight us, but we want to fight them. Long Baishan's eyes were sharp. He was ready to fight and force them to fight. Kill. Over 100 gigantic dragons rushed out of the Myth City in a grandiose manner. They were like a magnificent army, and wherever their powerful dragon breath passed by, a large portion of the self-destructing bat race would be annihilated. They tore open a gap and charged toward the god kings that were millions of miles away. The army doesn't move. Let's go fight the strongest race in the continent. This battle was unavoidable. The dragon race was already here. Kill! 16 god kings attacked together and attacked the dragon race. Genesis Splitter! Although the hundreds of giant dragons weren't sky immortals, they were still very strong. At this moment, all of them worked together. With Long Batian as the leader, their terrifying aura swept through the bats. Slash! Emperor Panga's giant axe chopped down. The night was as bright as day. Formation. God King Hao Tian wasn't afraid. The 16 god kings got into formation as well. Their auras surged into the sky. All of their strength was condensed into one. A rainbow pierced through the sky and punched over. Boom! A terrifying hurricane swept in all directions. Everything within 1,000,000 miles was razed to the ground. 8 divisional pagoda. Dragon god blessing. Long Batian took out the 8 divisional pagoda. In the horizon, there seemed to be a long roar that soared into the sky. Under the vortex, a giant dragon swooped down. The domineering aura shot towards the Haotian God King. Chapter 7:21. P.S. Thank you to Wind Demon of the Middle Demon for the tip. Ha ha ha, Long Batian is only SOSO. The battle between Long Batian and Divine King Hao Tian could be said to be earth-shattering. The sky changed color, and the vast sky was in tatters. Boundless void was torn apart, and astral winds blew past. As Long Batian was sent flying, godly King Hao Tian seized the opportunity and executed a supreme divine art in an attempt to kill him on the spot. The dragon race was known as the #1 race in the continent. They were born strong, but their cultivation speed was too slow. Hundreds of giant dragons worked together to cast Genesis, but still couldn't stop Hao Tian. A total of 16 god kings with extraordinary combat strength. Boom! After Hao Tian destroyed Long Baishan's formation, he followed up. Lin Jiqing decisively gave the order to attack. The cannon landed on Hao Tian's body. At this moment, something strange happened. Hao Tian's body was covered in a layer of light. The Shinwu cannon's attack was reflected and landed on the sky above Myth City. In an instant, Myth City suffered countless casualties and wails. Surprised, right? I expected it, but you only used 1 cannon. Hao Tian was prepared. He shook his head regretfully. Holy Mother Fist. Hao Tian ignored him. His aura surged into the sky as he punched. A giant Holy Mother, with her will, sent Long Batian flying again. The heaven-splitting, earth-splitting array collapsed. The God Kings worked together. They were all God Kings and Sky Immortals. In terms of combat strength, the dragon race couldn't compare to them. At the start, they were evenly matched, but as time went on, their disadvantage was revealed and they were defeated. Unfortunately, I didn't kill you on the spot. Hao Tian swept his gaze over and was somewhat disappointed. The number one race in the continent wasn't so easy to kill. He summoned the Holy Mother's will and still couldn't kill him, only heavily injuring him. The only relief was that Long Batian couldn't be an obstacle anymore. That punch just now had injured Long Batian and the other dragons. It was no longer a threat to them. Hao Tian is too strong. He can even receive the Holy Mother's will. Long Batian was heavily injured and couldn't activate the formation. First Madam, I will protect you. Long Batian had underestimated God King Hao Tian and the formation in their hands. If not for that, they wouldn't have lost so quickly. Just because Long Batian couldn't stop them didn't mean he couldn't take them away. No, Lin Jiqing rejected. My husband has handed the Myth City to me, and I will guard it until the very last moment. I definitely won't disappoint him. First Madam, where there's life, there's hope, Long Batian added. You don't have to persuade me anymore. I've made up my mind. Lin Jiqing showed an unprecedented firmness. Long Batian did not expect First Madam Lin Jiqing to be so resolute. If First Madam doesn't leave, the Dragon Clan won't leave either. The Dragon King has ordered us to protect you. Even if we die, we will persevere. Kill. Long Batian activated the 8-divisional pagoda and charged forward again. At the same time, demonic immortal Little Purple and the flaming lizard rushed up to resist godly King Hao Tian. Divine King Hao Tian, who was using his secret technique, was simply too strong. Even Long Batian, who was in the formation, was not a match for him, let alone now that the formation was not present. Bang, 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 3 figures flew out and crashed into the Myth City, turning it into a pile of ruins. Godly King Hao Tian was not in a hurry. Today, no one can stop this king's determination to destroy your Myth City. Paying such a huge price for a Myth City was unacceptable to godly King Hao Tian. It would be hard to explain to the Holy Mother. Losing 11 godly kings was too great a loss. At this moment, godly King Hao Tian was invincible. Attack! With a command, the foreign race army swarmed over. First Madam, they are forcing us to use the divine martial cannon. The foreign race army came from all directions. It was obvious that they wanted to force Lin Jiqing to make a decision. Attack! Lin Jiqing was decisive. They had to fight sooner or later, so she had no choice but to use it. Swish, swish, swish on the city wall. Terrifying light beams exploded among the foreign race army, engulfing a large number of them and turning them into ashes. Godly King Hao Tian looked at the unremarkable divine martial cannon, and a strange look flashed in his eyes. When they destroyed the Myth City, such a sharp weapon would definitely belong to the foreign race. At that time, they would use the divine martial cannon to attack the human sections. Ha ha ha! Kill them all! Leave no one alive! Godly King Hao Tian delayed Long Batian and the others, allowing the army to sweep over like a flood and completely destroy the Myth City. Without the threat of the divine martial cannon, the Myth City no longer had anything to fear. The most serious moment was about to begin. Kill! Lin Jiqing wore a set of red battle armor and was the first to attack with an immortal sword in hand. Her strength was at the 9 tribulation scattered immortal level. Coupled with her equipment, her combat strength was at the half-step heaven immortal level. Bang, 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 with a slash of her sword, sword light shredded hundreds of foreign race soldiers. The foreign race soldiers surged over and landed on the Myth City. Be it the streets, the inner city, or the outer city, there were foreign race soldiers everywhere as they started a bloody battle. Weak humans in front of our foreign race army. You are just a bunch of helpless lambs. Godly King Hao Tian shook them off once again. Looking at the one-sided situation, he said, after killing Demon Lin's woman, I think Demon Lin must be in so much pain that he would rather die. I am really looking forward to it. Godly King Hao Tian's eyes landed on Lin Jiqing. He raised his hand and slapped down. It covered the sky and covered the sun. The martial artists and foreign race soldiers below were all crushed into pieces. This palm was enough to kill Demon Lin's woman. You demonic immortal, how dare you spoil my plans? The fatal palm was blocked by demonic immortal Little Violet, who returned to her original body. Big Madam, let's go. Little Violet's huge body was torn apart. Half of her body was gone, and she was on the verge of collapsing. Purple flames burned and filled the sky. The flames tore apart the foreign race's blockade and flew out. You want to escape from my hands? Do you think that you are Demon Lin? Godly King Hao Tian was unnatural. He reached out with his giant hand and appeared in the sky above Little Violet. He smiled and slapped down, "Go to hell!" Madam, when they saw those scenes, everyone cried out in despair. No one could block Godly King Hao Tian's palm, and no one could block it. He used all of his strength and wanted to kill Demon Lin's woman along with the demon immortal. Just as Madam was about to die, a giant whirlpool appeared and swallowed both of them, causing Godly King Hao Tian's attack to miss. Who is going against me? Scram out. Godly King Hao Tian's gaze was cold. He wanted to grab the person and smash him into pieces. Behind the whirlpool was a small monster which caused everyone's jaws to drop. Hairball! City Lord Lin's hairball! Someone exclaimed. Die! Godly King Hao Tian's expression changed. He failed consecutively, and his rage turned into embarrassment. He slapped towards Hairball, who was in the air. Godly King, to think that you would bully a small fellow. The cold voice was like a nightmare, ringing in the air above everyone. After that, a figure appeared in front of Harry Ball, forcefully blocking an attack from Hao In God King. Chapter 722. The moment he said that, there was silence. The alien race warriors were all stunned. Someone dared to say such things to the God King? That person must be tired of living. Demon Lin is back. One of the alien race warriors shouted in a trembling voice. The alien race warriors who were mocking Lin Fan for overestimating himself instantly revealed expressions of fear and unease. Demon Lin's name had become a taboo amongst the alien race. Usually, no one was willing to mention it. Anyone who dared to do so would definitely suffer. Today, the death of 6 God Kings was no different from boosting Demon Lin's prestige. Who didn't know that the divine martial cannon was created by Demon Lin? They had personally witnessed the divine martial cannon shoot down God Kings like they were mosquitoes. How could the alien race warriors not be shocked when they saw Demon Lin appear? At this moment, Demon Lin's name was like a nightmare in their hearts. They were so frightened that they didn't dare to attack. He could even block one attack from the God King. His physical defense was just too strong. They were humans, after all. Compared to the alien race's disappointment and unease, the humans exploded with joy. The sky above Myth City was one. In their hearts, City Lord Lin was like a god to them, no matter where or when. As long as City Lord Lin appeared, they believed that there was no threshold they couldn't cross. They were instantly filled with boundless fighting spirit. Kill! Kill all the alien races. The alien race warriors were in a daze. This gave the human race a chance to explode with unprecedented confidence. Once the human race exploded, they were a cohesive force. On one side, they were united because of Lin Fei's appearance. On the other side, they were frightened by a single name. At least 20% of their combat strength was gone, and they didn't have the will to fight anymore. God King Hao Tian's face froze. Although the alien race warriors below had yet to fully collapse, there were already signs. If this dragged on, things wouldn't be good. Lin Fei, Not killing you back then is the last thing I regret. God King Hao Tian looked at Lin Fei and said regretfully, Your alien race didn't come to the continent and use the human race as resources to restore your holy mother. You might not regret it today. Lin Fei stared at God King Hao Tian. But you shouldn't have attacked my woman. Today, all of you shall stay here. Heaven connecting divine tower. From the moment he learned that the outsiders had begun their counterattack, Lin Fei hadn't stopped at all. He had raised his strength to the limit, and out of fear of danger, he had asked Hairball to return first. It was fortunate that he had made such a decision, or else he would regret it for the rest of his life. As soon as the heavenly divine pagoda appeared, the sky darkened as if it was night and day. Bang, 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 countless non-humankind warriors died in an instant. It's still not certain who will kill who. Godly King Hao Tian was ready to risk it all. He did not believe that a single Lin Fei would be stronger than all of them combined. Today, only one of them would survive. Holy Mother, Divine Fist! At this moment, Godly King Hao Tian unleashed his strongest fist technique. He summoned an unparalleled will and smashed it onto the heaven-reaching God Tower. The Tong Tian Divine Pagoda was a supreme treasure, but when faced with such a powerful attack, it swayed for a moment. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on Godly King Hao Tian, and his movements were greatly restricted. A divine sword flew out from behind Lin Fei. With a slash, the Jingguang danced in the air and transformed into a huge golden scissors, cutting towards Heavenly King Hao Tian. Crack! Heavenly King Hao Tian's formation collapsed. This scissor landed right on the flaw of the formation, using force to break force, breaking the secret technique that Divine King Hao Tian had formed. How did you know the flaw of this secret technique? Demon Lin had broken their formation. The one who found it the hardest to accept was Heavenly King Hao Tian. Even Long Batian was unable to break the formation, but Demon Lin did it just like that. I said that none of you can leave today. Lin Fei stepped forward and waved his divine sword. The river of swords swept over, vast and boundless. Everywhere it passed, the sword would surge and the sword light would shoot out. When the sword light landed on the bodies of the warriors of the foreign races, their bodies were shredded into pieces. There was no chance of survival. It was unknown how many warriors of the foreign races were killed. Just like that, the 10,000-foot sword river crushed towards them with an invincible might. The suppression of the Heaven Ascension Divine Pagoda caused their movements to be greatly restricted. They were unable to leave the area of suppression in an instant. The sword Qi River gushed over. The God Kings fell into the sword river one after another. Just like that, those powerful existences of the foreign races were swept away and torn into pieces, falling into the sword river. One godly king died. 2 godly kings died. The extremely strong godly kings were killed just like that in the sword river. At that moment, Lin Fei was like an invincible god of war. His gaze was cold, and it sent shivers down the godly king's spines. Heavenly King Hao Tian, you are one of them. I mean what I say. Heavenly King Hao Tian had always felt that the 4 godly kings were killed because of Lin Fei's sneak attack. He had never expected that Lin Fei's combat strength would exceed the limit and wipe them out with one move. Impossible. You are a heaven immortal, and so am I. How can your combat strength be so strong? Seeing the godly kings die one after another, Heavenly King Hao Tian was furious. The godly kings nurtured by the Holy Mother weren't as strong as the 10 godly kings, but they were still godly kings and heaven immortals. When did they become so weak that they could be killed? Heavenly King Hao Tian, run! The water demon godly king was scared out of his wits. The golden sword river swept over with a sharp aura that wanted to kill everything. No matter what, he couldn't block it. His mind was blank. They didn't notice that the essence of the godly kings who were killed by the golden sword intent kept entering Lin Fei's body. The golden sword river became even more resplendent. water elemental world. The water demon godly king swept up heavenly king Hao Tian and turned into a black river. He ignored the Tong Tian divine pagoda suppression and escaped. He appeared millions of miles away and fled in a panic. How could Lin Fei let a godly king escape? Heaven, splitting finger. A finger that was tens of thousands of feet long shot out of the void and stabbed into the Black River. Above the Black River, the water demon, godly king, appeared. He struggled and exploded. I won't die. His voice stopped. Swish, swish, swish. The golden river swept towards the alien army. The black army fell into the Sword River. Almost all of them died in the Sword River. Only a few alien soldiers survived. Cough, cough. Long Batian swallowed his saliva, his eyes wide open. Too awesome. He killed a godly king with one sword. He can be called the number one in the continent. Long Batian knew that he had bet on the right treasure. Whoosh! A wave of energy descended from the sky and landed on Long Batian. He felt like he was bathing in the spring wind. He felt refreshed, and all the injuries he had suffered before were instantly healed. Thank you, Dragon King, for your gift. Long Batian said sincerely. Stay here and guard the Myth City. Lin Fei tore open the void and entered. I didn't expect Lord Dragon King's strength to increase so much at such a critical moment. I'm afraid the war between the alien races is about to come to an end. Long Batian looked at Lin Fei's back. As long as those godly kings don't get into a formation, none of them are Lord Dragon King's match. Fortunately, they made the best of it. Otherwise, the dragon race, wife, you've suffered. In the void, Lin Fei said with heartache. Lin Jiqing was wearing her battle armor. She looked valiant and heroic. Her face was filled with a happy smile. It's my duty. Lin Fei hugged Lin Jiqing in his arms. It's all over. The alien races are proud of their godly kings. I'll kill them all and kill my way to their lair. I'll destroy the Holy Mother and bring peace to the continent. After his overall strength increased, the difference between Lin Fei and celestial immortals kept increasing. It was already one-sided. The only thing that Lin Fei was afraid of was the Holy Mother of the alien races. She was the real boss. Lin Fei didn't believe that the Holy Mother still had the battle power to end the war between the alien races and restore peace to the continent after devouring those godly kings. Really, it's more real than real gold. When the time comes, we'll roam the world. Don't lie. Enlighten Zhang Yi, you traitor. I'll get rid of you first. In the sky above the divine sword school, the battle continued. The alien warriors and the disciples of the divine sword school fought fiercely. The elders of the Elder Council suffered heavy casualties. The divine sword school was in a sea of fire. Corpses were strewn everywhere. The battle was still going on. Enlightened Zhang Yi was covered in blood. He blocked the great elder's sword. There's nothing wrong with cooperating with the alien races. The continent will fall into their hands sooner or later anyway. Isn't it suitable? It's better than your sect being destroyed. Senior brother, let's kill him first. Let's completely destroy the divine sword school. Enlightened gentleman killed an elder and rushed forward. He laughed loudly as he attacked the great elder. Only by destroying the divine sword school can we have a foothold among the alien races. No matter how one looked at it, the divine sword school was already an arrow at the end of its flight. They wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. The experts and elders were dead. In addition, the 5 godly kings had joined forces. They practically swept through the entire divine sword school. Is the divine sword school really going to be destroyed by my hands today? The great elder's injuries weren't light. Call the sword god out. I know he's definitely here. The great elder knew better than anyone that the disaster today was actually instigated by the sword god. Even before he died, the great elder wanted to get rid of the sword god, the scourge. You don't have to call. I don't mind telling you that young Master Sword God has already gone to kill Lin Fei. Enlightened Gentleman said proudly. I'm afraid he's already killed Lin Fei. It's a pity that you won't be able to see him. Cough! The great elder coughed up a mouthful of blood. That's impossible. Alliance Master Lin's strength is tyrannical. Sword God is but a defeated opponent under his sword. How can he be a match for him? Ha ha ha, you're quite smart. However, what do you think young Master Sword God and the 4 godly kings will do? Enlightened Gentleman's sword art was sharp. He kept attacking the great elder. PFFF, the great elder lost his composure. How despicable. You won't have a good ending. Wrong? It should be your divine sword school. You've heard so much. You can accompany them now. Enlightened Zhang, Ye's sword light was resplendent. Chapter 7:23. Grand Elder is right. You won't have a good ending. I can guarantee that. As the cold voice fell, a tyrannical force descended from the sky and tore apart Enlightened Master Zhang, Ye's sword, disintegrating the attack. The terrifying aura sent the 2 of them flying. They crashed into a mountain in the divine sword school. The mountain collapsed and the ground cracked. Rocks flew everywhere. Countless foreign race warriors met with misfortune. Grand Elder, are you all right? A man and a woman appeared near the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder knew that he couldn't stop the 2 of them. He wanted to drag them down with him. He was shocked when he heard the voice. Alliance Leader Lin Lin, you're back. The Grand Elder realized that he had called her wrongly. He quickly corrected himself. Weren't you killed by the Divine Sword School? We'll talk about this later. I'll go clean them up first. When did the Divine Sword School let them run wild here? They all deserve to die. Lin Fei snorted coldly. He went straight to the 5 foreign race godly kings who were fighting not far away. First Madam, how can this be? The 5 godly kings joined hands and defeated our elders. The Grand Elder exclaimed. He wanted to help. How could Lin Fei fight against 5 godly kings alone? He should at least help. Lin Jiqing stopped him and smiled. Grand Elder, don't worry. The foreign race godly kings are nothing in his hands. Grand Elder probably doesn't know that godly King Hao Tian and the other godly kings have already died in the hands of the alliance leader. The first elder's body trembled, and he cried out involuntarily, How is this possible? The Grand Elder couldn't accept this news. A moment later his eyes widened. He saw that wherever Lin Fei passed, sword intent pervaded the air. The foreign race warriors exploded one after another. No one could stop him. The foreign race itinerant immortals and foreign race half-step celestial immortals died one after another. The 5 god kings of the foreign races were sent flying by Lin Fei's sword. The tough bodies of the foreign races exploded one after another. This was the unparalleled sword intent. Their tough defenses were nothing but a joke right now. Bang, 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 another sword strike. The violent sword intent cut the God King in half at the waist. The God King couldn't even use fleshly rebirth as he was shredded into pieces by the sword intent. He died just like that. The first elder was dumbfounded. If it was a one-on-one fight, the first elder believed that Lin Fei would be able to win. But if it was a 1-on-5 fight, Lin Fei would be able to sweep through the alien God Kings and kill them all. Enlightened Master Zhang Yi, an enlightened gentleman, rushed out from the pile of pebbles. When they saw the divine king being killed, their minds went blank. Clearly, they were unable to digest this scene. Lin Fei had actually killed 5 god kings with a single sword strike. It was as if the heavens were playing a joke on them. The enlightened Zhang Yi and the enlightened gentleman were certain that Lin Fei would not be able to return. He would either be killed or banished to the depths of the starry sky. There was no other choice. However, when Lin Fei appeared in front of them once again and swept through the god kings like a god, all they were left with was boundless fear. They had lost count of how many times they cursed in their hearts. He's still not dead? There's no justice in the world. The two of them were scared out of their wits. They immediately tore open the void and prepared to escape. Don't go. The first elder was furious when he saw the two of them. How many elders had died in their hands? How could he let the two of them leave? Lin Fei's speed was faster than them. The invincible sword will turned into a beam of light and slashed at the void. A large area of the void collapsed, and two figures were forced out of the void. The two of you have committed a massacre in the Divine Sword School. Don't you want to leave something behind? Lin Fei walked forward step by step. If there was no Divine Sword School, he would not be here today. Now that the Divine Sword School had been destroyed to this extent, Lin Fei had a belly full of anger that needed to be vented. He would not let the two of them leave this place. They must pay the price for the massacre here. Alliance Master Lin, you killed the alien god kings. I advise you to admit defeat. Enlightened Master Zhang, you scratched his head. He could not believe that the other party's strength had increased to such an extent in such a short time. There are dozens of god kings in total. You can't defeat them. They were enlightened Master Zhang, yes, only reliance. Pooh! A beam of sword light flew over. Enlightened Master Zhang, he cried out in pain as his left arm flew off. The wound was enveloped by a force, unable to regenerate. Hee, you still know how to threaten me. Lin Fei found it funny. I don't mind telling you that the number of god kings that died in my hands has already exceeded 20. That's impossible. Enlightened Master Zhang, Ye's expression changed. He thought about the god kings he killed just now. Could it be that he really killed 20 god kings? Could it be that God King Hao Tian is also dead? Don't worry. You will soon follow in his footsteps. I gave you a chance back then, but you didn't know how to cherish it. You colluded with the alien god kings and harmed your alliance. After killing you, I will personally go to Celestial Gate and destroy your Celestial Gate's inheritance. Enlightened Master Zhang, Yi suddenly raised his head. His face was filled with malevolence. Gentlemen, leave quickly. This sect master will fight it out with him. A violent energy was released from Enlightened Master Zhang Ye's body. He was preparing to self-destruct. He wanted to take Lin Fei down with him. Lin Fei shook his head in disappointment. Stubborn. A surge of energy that was even thicker than Enlightened Master Zhang Ye's came crashing down. Enlightened Master Zhang Ye's energy was instantly disintegrated. It was like a huge wave suppressing a small wave. Pooh! Enlightened Master Gentleman's right arm flew off. He didn't even have time to prepare to escape. Lin Fei, you can't kill me. If you kill me, the Upper Realm Elder will definitely hunt you down. Even if you run to the ends of the earth, you can forget about surviving. Enlightened Master Gentleman's face was pale as he spoke in a sonorous voice. Lin Fei was no longer afraid of being bitten by lice. Sword God said the same thing. Even the almighty beings of the Upper Realm came personally to kill me. Unfortunately, they couldn't kill me. So what if it's your Celestial Gate Elder? Lin Fei laughed. For a despicable person like you, it's better to send you to hell, lest you go around scheming and scheming. Don't kill me, Enlightened Master Gentleman shouted. His eyes flashed with ruthlessness. His body suddenly exploded, and a huge force swept over. A runes flew out and disappeared into the void. Damn you, Lin Fei! The runes wrapped around Enlightened Master Gentleman's primordial spirit. I need to seize your body and be reborn as soon as possible. Once my strength is restored, I'll wipe out your entire clan. In order to severely injure Lin Fei, Enlightened Master Gentleman did not hesitate to self-destruct to escape. This was his only way. Lin Fei was too tyrannical. He was like an insurmountable mountain. Throughout his life, Lin Fei had always been like a mountain pressing down on his head. Gentlemen, you're a despicable person. You're truly full of schemes and schemes. A figure blocked enlightened master gentleman's path in the void. You would have succeeded if it were an ordinary person. How are you still alive? Enlightened master gentleman roared. He should have been able to block his self-destruction. Chapter 724. In the void, astral winds howled, tearing everything apart. Lin Fei just stood in the void, letting the endless astral winds fall on him and bounce him away. 3 years ago, you used the power of the sacred fetus to kill me and failed. 3 years later, you were killed by my sword. You are beyond redemption. Why bother? The past appeared one by one with the wind. In this world, strength is always the most important. Schemes and tricks are nothing more than this. Lin Fei kept his divine sword, his gaze firm. I must kill without mercy. Tearing open the void, Lin Fei returned to the God of Sword sect. The sudden self-destruction of Taoist gentlemen had a great impact. Lin Fei destroyed a part of the force, but the rest affected the God of Sword sect, affecting many disciples. Lin Fei took out the worldly furnace and captured the fleeing foreign tribe warriors. In a short while, he collected the invading foreign tribe warriors. Even the godly king was no match for them, let alone the foreign tribe warriors. You didn't let that despicable person escape, did you? Great Elder asked anxiously. Taoist gentleman, who had always been one of the top 10 prodigies in front of everyone, was such a despicable person. On the surface, he begged for mercy, but secretly self-destructed. It really caught everyone off guard. If he succeeded, he would harm many people in the future. Don't worry, he's dead. Lin Fei said, such a despicable person deserves to die. Lin Jiqing's gaze was cold. Many things were instigated by Taoist gentlemen. For example, he came to attack the God of Sword sect under the order of the God of Sword. At the mention of the God of Sword, Great Elder regretted. How did the sect cultivate such a person? In the end, he still harmed the sect. Great Elder, the God of Sword, is also dead. I've already killed him for the sect. No matter what, I'm still a part of the God of Sword sect, Lin Fei said. Good, good, good. Good kill. Then I'm relieved. If I wasn't deceived, today's disaster wouldn't have happened. Great Elder seemed to recall something. Alliance Master, the God of Sword sect's crisis has been eliminated. Hurry up and rescue the other sections. Don't let the godly king succeed. Lin Fei nodded. Good. It's time for the foreign tribe to get out of the continent. He turned to Lin Jiqing and said, You're careful. You worry too much about the matters here. I will. Just like that, Lin Fei charged towards the second location. Now that the godly kings had dispersed, this was undoubtedly an opportunity for Lin Fei. If he missed this opportunity, it would not be easy anymore. Senior brother is mighty. Senior brother is mighty. Before they left, everyone in the Divine Sword School, regardless of whether they were injured or not, shouted. Their voices reverberated in the huge mountain gate. Lin Fei's faith branch continued to increase. Who would have thought that Alliance Leader Lin would advance so quickly? He has already taken such a huge step forward. In this world, he is definitely number one. Great Elder watched Lin Fei's departing figure. In this world, there was already no one who could resist his divine might. The next place Lin Fei went to was the Ice Palace. The Ice Palace was also facing great pressure. There were also 5 God Kings here, which meant that the Ice Palace was worthy of using 5 God Kings. The Ice Palace's situation was better than the Divine Sword sects, but they might not be able to hold on for long. As Lin Fei charged out from outer space and killed a God King, the situation of the battle changed without a doubt. Ice Fairy, who was fighting the God Kings in the snow, was also shocked. Alliance Leader Lin is here. Even though the people of the Ice Palace had never seen Lin Fei before, Lin Fei's name was known by everyone in the continent. The The female disciples of the Ice Palace also knew about him. Look, another God King has died. The female disciples in the crowd were all stunned by what they saw. Even the Ice Fairy was shocked at first, and then her cherry lips opened wide as she watched, dumbfounded. 5 God Kings were killed just like that in front of Alliance leader Lin. It was so easy that the entire Ice Palace was dumbfounded until he disappeared. Number 1. The group of Ice Palace elders said in unison, to kill so many God Kings so quickly. If he wasn't number 1, then what was he? How could his strength advance by leaps and bounds? Ice Fairy allowed the snow to fall on her body. Back then, she could still fight with him, but not long later, he had already charged into the sky. Ice, don't be sad. Alliance leader Lin is a genius. I'm afraid the continent war is about to end. The Ice Palace master arrived and appeared beside Ice Fairy. Lin Fei's figure appeared in many places on the continent. In order to conquer the continent, the alien race army had sent out all their God Kings, preparing to suppress the human race. But at this time, Lin Fei's strength improved greatly. Other than a few God Kings nurtured by the Holy Mother, the rest were all killed, and Lin Fei's strength kept increasing. Lin Fei still spent 3 days to deal with the continent war. The remaining alien race warriors didn't chase after them. The human race would deal with them. Myth City. After killing the alien race experts, Lin Fei returned to Myth City. He didn't kill his way to the base of the alien race, Savage World, and let them gather. Daddy! Just as he returned to the city Lord Manor, a small figure flew over. A fragrance greeted him, and he hugged her head. Lele. Lin Fei was stunned. Lele could fly, and she could talk. Hey, there's a change in her bloodline. Lin Fei looked and suddenly understood. His strength had increased too quickly, and he had indirectly stimulated his daughter's bloodline. At such a young age, she already had considerable strength. Little princess, come out quickly. Little princess, where are you? It's dangerous outside. Soon, the sound of servants searching could be heard. Daddy, they're too bad. They won't let me play. The little girl raised her head pitifully. Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He could see that she would be a little devil in the future. He kissed her. Daddy, I'll play with you. Daddy, that's great. I want to go outside. The little girl pointed. Lin Fei hugged his daughter and flew into the sky. At the same time, he told the servants to stop searching. She was by his side. With a wave of his hand, the sky full of white clouds gathered, turning into a children's playground in his memory. In the city, Lord Manor, Jean Feng was shocked. Since her daughter's bloodline was stimulated recently, she often couldn't find her. She was very worried. Second Madam, Mrs. Up there. So, everyone saw the scene of laughter in the sky. Little girl, really insensible. Jean Feng laughed and scolded. Unbeknownst to her, everyone else was relieved. This little princess was really a witch. At such a young age, she could already fly in the sky. Her aptitude was not ordinary. Not far away, the demon immortal little Z let out a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, she didn't come to harm me. If she did, I would have lost all my feathers. At the same time, the alien tribes were completely defeated. All forces personally came to the mythical city. From far away, they saw such a warm scene. In addition to the warmth, there was more shock. Another evildoer, like father, like daughter. Another fairy immortal. Seeing this scene, they were almost speechless. At such a young age, she completely defeated those geniuses. After Lin Fei came down, Jean Feng laughed and scolded. Bad guy, bad guy. The little girl was unhappy. She insisted on hugging her father and didn't want to go to her mother. Don't talk nonsense. Mom is a good person. Be obedient. Lin Fei kept a straight face. However, the little girl giggled and immediately lost her temper. Leave him with me. I will bring him over when the time comes. Kiss. The little girl kissed him happily. Lin Fei held the little girl like this. Even though he had been a father for some time, there were not many opportunities to hold her like this. It was said that daughters were clingy, even if they were lovers in their previous lives. Lin Fei felt that this saying was very reasonable. However, the little girl was too naughty. Her bloodline was stimulated. In the future, no one would be able to control her. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Congratulations, Alliance Leader Lin. As soon as Lin Fei appeared, everyone congratulated him. The little girl was white and red, crystal clear. Her body emitted a fragrance, which was released by the medicine. At the same time, a phantom of a long river appeared behind her. From afar, they knew that Alliance Leader Lin's daughter was extraordinary. Seeing it with their own eyes, they knew how terrifying her talent was. Sister, you're so beautiful. The little girl appeared in front of the ice fairy with a whoosh. She seemed to understand. I want to be a beauty in the future, too. Lin Fei was speechless. Narcissistic at such a young age. He did not seem to be so narcissistic in the past. At this moment, the little loli had a destructive power. Even the usually cold ice fairy revealed a rare smile, like the first thaw of winter snow. Call me again. Sister will give you something good. The little girl was not timid at all. Sister, you are so beautiful. She stretched out her pink hands, which made people laugh. Brother Lin, your daughter is just like you. Tai walked over. Of course. I am so handsome. How can my daughter not be beautiful? Lin Fei was narcissistic. Tai said softly, I think I see the next Brother Lin appear. Lin Fei was stunned for a moment before he burst into laughter. In reality, Tai had guessed correctly. A few years later, the little girl became the first she-devil on the continent. However, everyone did not know whether to laugh or cry. She would always do such ridiculous things that people did not know what to say. In just a short while, the little loli had collected a large pile of gifts. Everyone thought that the little loli would not be able to accept them. But in the end, Furball flew out of the void and took all the gifts in one gulp. Mau Mau, I will take you to eat. The little girl hugged Hairball and swayed out just like that. Lin Fei was shocked. When did Hairball get kidnapped? He did not treat Hairball badly. If Hairball knew, she would definitely say, Your daughter is too powerful. If I did not play with her, she would cook me. Alliance Leader Lin, it is all thanks to your help that we were able to escape danger. Chapter 725. P.S. Thanks to Lee7894563321 * for the tip. In the boundless void, a black warship flew across the void. Behind it were numerous warships. There was no end in sight. There were at least tens of thousands of warships. These were the human tribe's warships. Ever since Alliance Leader Lin displayed his prowess by killing the foreign tribe's supreme being and cutting off their main force, the foreign tribe army began to crumble after losing their leader. The cultivators of the continent began to attack and kill the lone foreign tribe soldiers. On the southern battlefront, the headquarters of the foreign tribes were taken down one by one. The soldiers of the foreign tribes were reduced to ashes. With the death of the divine king, the morale of the human race soared. They were like a hot knife through butter, sweeping through everything. The alien army, whose morale had been shaken, collapsed one after another. Only those who had returned to the big world survived. After half a month of cleaning, there were no more foreign tribes on the continent. The passage to the foreign tribes' outside world was destroyed by the foreign tribes. It meant that they had lost their chance to return to the continent. The mysterious heavenly continent, which had been in chaos for a long time, finally regained its peace. The dark clouds dispersed, ushering in a sunny day. It was a long-awaited peace. To the mainland, the invasion of the outsiders could be said to have caused heavy losses. Who knew how many sects had lost their legacies because of this? How many sects had made the wrong choice and were wiped out? How many sects had risen because of this? After the continent regained its peace, the the mysterious heavenly continent joined forces with the other outside worlds and began to liberate the worlds that were suppressed. A month later, they stepped onto the final battlefield, the savage wilderness world. Although the foreign tribe army had retreated and the Supreme Being was dead, the foreign tribes would always be a threat to the people of the various worlds. This was especially so for the Supreme, Holy Mother. If she was not eliminated, they might repeat the same mistake in the future. As for whether there would be a great hero, no one knew. The Supreme Holy Mother must be killed. A Supreme Holy Mother who could nurture a Supreme Being at any time was undoubtedly a dangerous thing. Hence, the scene of the warships crossing the void and heading to the savage wilderness world. Only when the foreign tribes lost the Supreme Holy Mother could they truly relax and not worry about it. Boom! 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 One warship after another charged into a brown planet. Upon entering this world, the aura of desolation greeted them. Everywhere they passed by was barren land. Yellow sand danced in the air, causing sand and rocks to fly. Alliance leader, we've arrived. This is the savage great world. Countless warships hovered in the sky like a dark cloud, covering the sky and the sun. The savage world is truly desolate. Lin Fei stood at the bow of the ship. What entered his eyes was a stretch of desolation, and there was no sign of life. No wonder they want to keep invading. A single world really can't satisfy them. Now that Lin Fei was going to attack the Holy Mother's lair, he had to be there personally. Subconsciously, Lin Fei thought that the Holy Mother was the real strong existence of the other races. Unfortunately, when he killed the Deity King, he forgot to leave her alive so that he could interrogate her. This was the first time they had come to the savage world. They had imagined that the foreign races would go all out to stop them from invading the savage world. Once they took over the savage world, the foreign races would be completely wiped out. However, the scene before them was very different from what they had imagined. The outsiders didn't attack. In fact, at a glance, there was no aura at all as far as the eye could see. It seems that the foreign races planned to have a decisive battle with us. Tell them to fan out. Once they see the foreign race army, attack with the divine martial cannon. Don't give them any chance. Lin Fei smiled and gave the order. The people behind him twitched their eyes. They wanted to say, "Alliance leader, why do we need to use the divine martial cannon to deal with these cannon fodders? It's too wasteful." Each of the elite warships was equipped with a divine martial cannon. In Lin Fei's words, since they were allies, he was selling them this weapon at a cheap price. Others could forget about it. Naturally, Lin Fei earned a lot of money. Unfortunately, they were still worried about how to get resources. The divine martial cannon was a bottomless pit. No matter how rich they were, they might not be able to afford it. The warships fanned out. As they went deeper and deeper, they didn't see any foreign races. It was as if they had disappeared without a trace, giving up on the savage world. The savage world was huge, even bigger than the mysterious heavenly mainland. However, it was very barren. At a glance, sand and stones flew everywhere, and there was no sign of life. Common plants and tree species were completely extinct in the savage great world. Not a single trace of them to be found. The system was right. The foreign races are natural copies of locusts. Wherever they go, they will empty out everything. The savage world really fits the characteristics of the foreign races. Lin Fei thought in his heart. Half a day later, a huge golden castle suddenly appeared at the end of the world, together with a black mass of foreign race army. A murderous aura came from them. It turned out that the foreign races had already prepared for a big battle and were waiting in their base camp. There were so many foreign races that they formed a black mass. Dark clouds covered the sky, and a murderous aura shot up into the sky. Seeing such a large number of foreign races, everyone finally understood why Lin Fei suggested to bombard the foreign race army. At least it would save them a lot of trouble and reduce unnecessary casualties. This battle can only be won, not lost. Lin Fei's eyes were resolute. I'll leave the matters outside to you guys. Lin Fei came for the Holy Mother in this battle. Among those present, he was the only one who could fight the Holy Mother. If this scourge was not eliminated, the continent would not be peaceful. Ever since he had the bloodline of this world, Lin Fei had regarded himself as a person of this world. Those distant memories were buried deep in his mind, and he truly regarded himself as a part of the mysterious heavenly mainland. Alliance leader, don't worry. We will definitely kill them all outside. The demon master's murderous intent surged. This time, the demon sect had suffered heavy losses. Attack! Lin Feizhong's voice was as loud as thunder, exploding in the sky. What followed was the sound of the foreign races attacking. The foreign races swarmed forward like a tide. Fire the divine martial cannon! In the face of such a large and innumerable foreign race army, the divine martial cannon showed its prowess. Boom! 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 Dazzling light beams tore through the void and exploded in the midst of the foreign race army, setting off monstrous waves of air. Under the waves of air, the bodies of the foreign races were torn apart, filling the sky with blood and water, falling into the dry yellow sand. The divine martial cannon is so powerful. Tai cheered loudly. Its power was domineering, but it consumed too much energy. Even he felt the pinch. For the foreign races, everything was worth it.